One Piece: The Legend of Creation, Chapter 261-280. 261 Monster Whitebeard. Humph. Sengoku has no time to be distracted now. Although Whitebeard is already injured, Whitebeard, who is fighting for his life and death, does not dare to underestimate him even if Garp cooperates with him. Possible. Don't be in such a hurry to start the fight. I have prepared a big gift for you, Marine, and you have received it. Lu Chengkong looked at Akainu with a strange look, making Akainu feel terrified at the same time. A strong sense of crisis enveloped Akainu. Light of life. Portgas D. Dana crossed her hands in front of the turbulent Jade Girl Peak, and a beam of green light full of life breath fell directly on Whitebeard's body. Light of liberation. Khalifa also shot at the same time, full of holy breath, as if the light energy that could judge all dark sins and Dana's life energy intertwined and hit Whitebeard. This is Kula La La La, Lao Su's body, those secret wounds. Whitebeard looked at his hands in shock, feeling that the secret wounds in his body that had been stalking him were slowly fading, and finally he was in. Khalifa and Portgas D and Dana joined forces to finally eliminate all the dark injuries caused by the fruit of death. Portgas D. Dana and Khalifa did not stop and used different tricks after eliminating Whitebeard's dark injury. Holy light shines. Revival. Shrouded in Whitebeard suddenly became more intense, and Whitebeard's body began to change visible to the naked eye. The scars left by Sengoku and Garp just now disappeared. Not only that, but the wrinkles on his face began to slowly fade away. In the end, Whitebeard looked like a man in his 20s or 30s at most, except for his two beards, which were still white. The kind of old man's feeling. How is that possible? Whitebeard is getting younger. Akainu's eyes were glaring, his voice trembled a little. An old man in his 70s turned into a young man in front of him. Such a thrill, it was too big, and at this moment he finally understood why Lu Chengkong looked at him with such a strange look just now. He had smothered Whitebeard just now, which made Whitebeard very annoyed, and then he said that if Whitebeard was in his prime, he might not even have the qualifications to be his opponent. He really answered his mouth. His injury was healed, Whitebeard regained his youth under the life infusion of the Fruit of Life, and with the help of the Fruit of Light, Whitebeard's physical function returned to its peak. Kura la la la. Whitebeard couldn't hold back his excitement and laughed at the same time. After returning to his peak, he punched his fists again and again, and the Conqueror, who had not been using it to save his physical strength and spirit, also broke out without reservation. Out! In an instant, when his strength returned to his peak, Whitebeard had been plagued by dark injuries for so many years. Not only did his strength not improve, but he kept regressing, and he had recovered now. Not only that, his body had been resisting the breath of death, and after recovering, it changed. Even more powerful, just like the red hair on his left hand, he broke and stood up, accumulated a lot of strength, and finally broke through the strength that he had accumulated for so many years without an inch. Two powerful shock waves covering Armament Haki and Conqueror Haki aimed at Garp and Sengoku, instantly pushing Garp and Sengoku on the wall and burying them deeply. God! Marshal Sengoku-sama, and Inkazan-sama, actually got AK-0 by Whitebeard. All the Marines screamed. If it weren't for CP0 and 3 Admiral in the lineup, they would all want to run away. Monster, back to the peak period, the Whitebeard after his strength broke and stood up can only be described as a monster. At this time, Whitebeard's strength is strong, even if Roger is resurrected, and there is no pain, he is also in his peak period. Whitebeard's opponent. At present, the one who can beat Whitebeard may be the woman from Tenryubito, and Gorosei. 5 elders can't beat Whitebeard, because Whitebeard has reached the same level of existence as Gorosei. 5 elders at this moment, which of course makes Whitebeard scruples. It's not just them, but also Lu Chengkong, who hasn't made all his efforts over the years and has remained unremarkable. I don't know why, Whitebeard returned to his peak, and after breaking and standing, he still felt a danger signal when he looked at Lu Chengkong. This kind of feeling can only appear when facing a powerhouse of the same level that can threaten his own life. Then it can only mean that Lu Chengkong, who has hidden strength, can threaten Whitebeard, and if he bursts out with all his strength, he is at least on the same level as Whitebeard. Boom! Garp and Sengoku punched open the building wood and rocks that were on their body, and stood up. Although they didn't die, it was inevitable that they would bleed and get injured. When they looked at Whitebeard, their eyes were full of disbelief. How is it possible that I have really regained my youth, and my strength has been greatly improved? Trouble, is this plan really only aborted? No, Ace must be executed. Sengoku knew that at this time there was no more. When there is no room for recovery, we can only take risks. Touch Portgas D. Ace immediately. Sengoku ordered immediately to the two marine soldiers on the execution stand. Yes, the two soldiers, apparently well trained, thrust their bayonets into Ace immediately after hearing the order. Ace, Luffy, the pirates of the Whitebeard pirates, Red Hair, and Whitebeard suddenly roared. I didn't expect Sengoku to make this move. It's a pity that Sengoku's plan today can only be doomed to fail, because the distance between the two bayonets Ace suddenly stopped when there was still about a millimeter of his body. I said that the two executioners, if you kill him in front of me, then I'm not ashamed to be thrown into my grandma's house. Liu Chengkong didn't know when he appeared behind Ace, and his left and right hands were placed on the two executioners at the same time. On the shoulders of a marine soldier, he said with a chuckle. Ha ha, little devil, I owe you a life, and there is another favor. If you need it, I will pay you back. Whitebeard almost burst into tears when he saw that Ace was all right. His mind is indeed admirable. In order to protect Roger's legend, he not only did not break the One Piece King of Pirates, but saw the son of his old rival Roger. Not only did he not do anything to him, but instead he protected him and treated him as his own son. It can be said that in the world of One Piece King of Pirates, Liu Chengkong is the most unpleasant thing about many heroines. Whitebeard is dead. 262-262 I will single out all of you. Because of Whitebeard's reasons and Marine's many pursuits of him, even though Liu Chengkong didn't like Ace very much, he would still save him. As for Whitebeard's favor, he was left behind by Isho. However, Whitebeard kept it in his heart. After all, Liu Chengkong restored his youth and solved his dark wounds. His great strength has already made Whitebeard owe him a life, and saving Ace made Whitebeard owe him another. Favors, with Whitebeard's temperament of revenge and revenge, he will definitely repay it, even if he dies. You old man, go back and teach your son well this time. If you leave Conqueror without learning, you're just wasting the talent God gave him. Liu Chengkong didn't care about Whitebeard's words. After throwing the two soldiers out, he kicked Ace on the ass and sent him directly to Whitebeard's injury. Ace went down entirely because it was pleasing to the eye of Whitebeard. Kura la la la, I know what to do even if you don't tell me. Whitebeard caught Ace and handed him to Marco, then looked at Akainu on the side. His eyes were full of cold murderous intent. The right fist wrapped in the ball of light immediately hit Akainu. Meteor burst out. Akainu's face changed drastically, and without thinking about it, he used his strongest trick, but this time, instead of shooting into the sky, he launched it directly at the huge shock wave that hit his face. Pity that Whitebeard is no longer the old man who was riddled with dark wounds, old and weak, and suffered multiple serious injuries. At this time, he is just a young man in his 20s and 30s who has experienced cupping. He has no worries at all. Whitebeard's hockey can be used without any reservations or scruples, and the armament hockey covered in shock waves is terrifying. Boom! The face of Whitebeard at this moment, Akainu's ultimate move is as fragile as a layer of white paper, shattering at the touch of a touch. If it weren't for the critical moment, Kuzan on the side directly used the ice escape to help resist Akainu's immortality and an extra layer of skin. Serious injury is inevitable. So strong, the person Ace said is really strong. Luffy, who was about to explode Conqueror, immediately wilted when he saw Ace being saved, and his eyes were about to bulge out when he saw the sturdy performance of the monster like Whitebeard. Gia, Marine may be about to lose now, and it's a shame to actually broadcast the battle here live. Don Quixote da Flamingo looked at the current situation, not to mention Whitebeard, Just the people of the happy pirates are terrible, the two strongest swordsmen in the world are among them, and there are all kinds of beautiful women with both appearance and strength. Marine's situation is not optimistic. I said, Whitebeard, I have joined this battle, should you let me move my muscles? I haven't tried my best for a long time, and I still have some grudges with Marine, and it's time to meet today. And resolved. Lu Chengkong dodged and landed on the ice layer of the bay, facing countless Marines alone, with a relaxed smile, showing the aura that I am the roost among the thousands. Okay, although I punched you before, but you didn't do anything at all. I also really want to see how strong a kid who can be as famous as me will be. Hearing this, Whitebeard also stopped, returned to his pirate ship, and handed over the battlefield to Lu Chengkong. After all, he was here to save people, but more importantly, he was curious about how strong Lu Chengkong was. Make yourself feel dangerous now. Is it time for him to shoot? This battlefield has literally become a field dominated by him and Whitebeard. Marine really never expected it. Crocodile looked at the person in front of him and recalled everything from his childhood. Aside from the grievances between the two, he really admired Lu Chengkong's achievements, and he also wanted to see how strong Lu Chengkong was now. Only Crocodile, Shichibukai, Whitebeard pirates, Red Hair pirates, Straw Hat pirates, but also some supernovas and even a lot of Marines watching live here through live video, and the eagles of the happy pirates with this idea. Ice and the others all wanted to see how far Lu Chengkong, who had been invisible all the time, had reached. CPO, a vice captain, 2 team members, Marshal Sengoku, Hero Garp, 3 Admiral, Kuzan, Akainu, Kazaru, Hihi, let's get to know all the grievances together today, let's go together. Lu Chengkong Shenhe waved his hand to the person in front of him, indicating that they can get on together. Hiss. The people present couldn't help gasping for breath when they heard it. Oh my god, Lu Chengkong is too arrogant. This is the highest combat power gathered by the Marine headquarters. It is only the combat power of the 4 emperors. There are 5 of them at the admiral level, and Lu Chengkong actually wants to single out all of them. Little devil, you are too arrogant. Quangfeng said very unhappily, although he knew that Lu Chengkong was very strong, but he did not expect Lu Chengkong to be so arrogant. Put down his rhetoric here and let so many of them go together. I have the ability to be arrogant. Lu Chengkong was still unmoved, and moved his hands and feet, thinking in his heart that so many strong people are enough for me to use. I don't know how far I can be pushed. I hope you don't let me die because even I don't know how strong I am now. Really, people who are too arrogant and sharp-edged will die miserably. Loki is king, and the wind is blowing. Quangfeng couldn't help but take action. His character was as violent as his name. Wind. In this way, Dragon's fruit ability can be determined not to be the fruit of wind and wind, then it is the fruit of weather. Hehe, very powerful ability. Lu Chengkong looked at the terrifying gale blowing towards his face. Hidden under the gale, the terrifying wind blade has made a sharp whistling sound, as if it can't wait to tear Lu Chengkong apart. Shake the world. Lu Chengkong pouted and smiled disdainfully, but the movement of his hands did not stop. The ability to shake the fruit was activated immediately, the space shattered, and the gale was immediately shaken and turned invisible. It's so scary. Kazaru's mantra came again, but this time, it was no longer as before, saying that it was scary and then knocking the opponent off, but he was genuinely terrified by Lu Chengkong's ability. Let's go together. He is right. He has arrogance, so he is not arrogant at all, but self-confidence. Sengoku is worthy of being a marshal, and immediately organized everyone to attack together. Frozen time. Capsules. Great Major Eruption. The wind is blowing. Iron Fist. Buddha Palm. Dragon's Breath. Meteorites fall. 8-handed Chonguyu. 263 skills overcome the heroes. Boom. This time, even Lu Chengkong will surely die. One of the Marine soldiers wiped the cold sweat from his forehead and said with a forced smile. Yeah, he is too arrogant. He actually said that he wants to challenge all Marine's highest combat power alone. He deserves to die. It's a pity that as a Marine soldier, he was stuck before he could speak, as if he was pinched by his neck. General Duck. Sure enough, after all these years, he has not become arrogant at all, but has become more terrifying. Smoker smoked his cigar and glanced down at his chest, a scar that resembled a ****. Obviously this was left to him by Lu Chenggong in the past. Down. As for Tashigi on one side, it was because she saw Kuina who looked exactly like her, and Juliana, who fell into a sluggish state and has not recovered yet. It seems that my mother's vision is quite accurate. I haven't been tempted by anyone for so many years. I didn't expect to meet one now, and it's still much younger than me. Aunt Xiao stood on the Xinxiaoyao and looked out. Lu Chenggong, who walked out of the explosion without incident, thought to himself. Is this the strength of the two of you working together? If it's just facing this state, it's really enough for me, it's a pity. Lu Chenggong sighed. Only the red hair on one side knew the meaning of Lu Chenggong's words best. Because he remembers clearly that Lu Chenggong has two kinds of transformations, and if the coverage is combined, the rate of improvement is extremely terrifying. Are you coming? Akainu, Kizaru, Kuzan, Garp, and the red-haired people who had seen Lu Chenggong's transformation ability all thought to one another. The devil has changed. Lu Chenggong tidied up his clothes. His eyes turned cold. A violent aura full of destruction was like a storm raging in all directions with Lu Chenggong's body as the center. This is not hockey, just Lu Chenggong when transforming. The increase in strength was just an aura that was involuntarily driven out. Very familiar demon wings, handsome but not violent demon screams, a pair of pitch-black wings, nails that seem to have no change on the surface, but in fact, amazing changes have taken place on the inside. Defensive power, penetrating power are all terrible. What is this? Black wings, dark eyes with no whites, two sharp horns, this is simply a demon. Many Marines and pirates shouted involuntarily, some of whom had never seen Lu. People such as Rob Lucci who are in this state of the sky are also very surprised. The warm-up is over, then everyone is ready, I'm coming. Lu Chenggong smiled evilly, but he disappeared without any movement, and appeared in front of Akainu in an instant, without any expense. The straight uppercut that looked very simple hit Akainu's face directly. Akainu didn't realize what was going on at all. He only felt that a fist in his pupil suddenly enlarged, and at the same time, his face was in pain, and the blood was rushing. As a pop upside down, he flew out and buried himself in the ground of the Marine headquarters. Marine Admiral, one punch is enough. Lu Chenggong blew his fist, and at the moment of hitting Akainu, his foot turned into a whip, and the strong whip leg swept away at the same time with a crisp popping sound. To Kizaru. Fortunately, Kizaru had already suffered from Lu Chenggong's losses before, so he was ready to move at the speed of light with elementalization early in the morning. The moment Lu Chenggong disappeared in place, he was already elementalized, so when Akainu was beaten and flew out, he had already turned into a ray of light and left, dodging the whip leg dangerously. Buddha Palm, suppress. Seeing that Lu Chong dared to fight in close combat against so many people, although he was horrified by Lu Chenggong's strength, he certainly couldn't pass up such a good opportunity. The powerful force of the cracking stone directly pressed on Lu Chenggong's body. Boom. Prototype Buddha, after Sengoku's transformation, do you only have such a little strength? It's too disappointing. Lu Chenggong's powerful Buddha palm, which has always been unfavorable, was supported by Lu Chenggong with one hand and could no longer move forward an inch. At the same time the tricks of Garp and Ice Dragon are here too. Dragon Breath of Ice. A dragon's breath with terrifying corrosive ability. The temperature was extremely low, even lower than the Ice Age of Kuzan's frozen fruit, and immediately burned on Lu Chenggong's body. Okay, I don't believe you'll be fine if you hit the vice captain's Ice Dragon Breath. Meteor roared excitedly, but he didn't forget to know that a huge flaming meteor was thrown over, and the gust of wind on the side also create a storm. The fire is more powerful by the wind. Boom. A huge explosion sounded like a nuclear bomb, followed by a blue, red, and yellow mushroom cloud that rose into the sky. Everyone's eyes were fixed on the center of the explosion, apparently planning to see if Lu Chenggong was okay for the first time. I've let you down again, the demon Rokushiki. Demon body. A breeze blew past, the smoke blew away, revealing Lu Chenggong's body, which had been covered all the time. A layer of demon scale armor covered Lu Chenggong's entire body. Once again unscathed by such a strong attack, Lu Chenggong's strength once shocked everyone who saw the battle, even Whitebeard. Everyone who is capable, why don't I let you have a taste of being incapacitated? Lu Chenggong didn't take action, but stood there leisurely, and glanced at Kizaru and the others with a pair of eyes that flashed violent light from time to time. Quick, go away. Kizaru, who had tried this taste, immediately shouted. He was shrewd and escaped Lu Chenggong's attack once again. Kuzan, Sengoku and others who were hit by the light energy all found themselves unable to use the fruit ability, as if the innate ability was actually sealed, which made them a little uncomfortable for a while. It's terrifying, if nothing else. This kid just uses his fruit ability to make people feel terrified. Whitebeard spit out these words with deep sympathy. Yeah, it's really scary enough for a person to be able to use the fruit ability of everyone. Although the redhead is not a person with ability, he also knows that a person who is used to using the fruit ability is suddenly sealed off. It is very uncomfortable. Sengoku, you taught me one thing, that is to kill you when you are sick and kill you when you are weakest. Just like you sent people to hunt me down before, don't you want to catch Ace and execute him? Then I will use his ability to repay you. The first one of course is to say that the fire of the magma is the superior Akainu. 264 defeat Akainu first, then Sengoku. Akainu who had barely walked out, but at this time Akainu was very embarrassed and scarred, and his clothes were covered with blood. Just like Whitebeard who was seriously injured in the original book, but now Whitebeard is alive and well. Live and jump, but the roles are reversed. HMPH, I don't believe that the fire that burns the fruit can fight the fire of the magma, dog-biting Crimson Lotus. Lu Chenggong's words aroused Akainu's anger. He always believed that he was the strongest fire element. Burning fruits are nothing but low-level fire. Really? Fire fist. Lu Chenggong didn't argue with Akainu. Speaking with facts would be best. His fists turned into flames and directly collided with Akainu's dog biting Crimson Lotus, but unfortunately the flames that burned the fruit were swallowed by Akainu's mind. Not only did the falling scene not appear, but his magma was actually burned and assimilated by Lu Chenggong's flames. Did you punch Whitebeard through your chest? Then I'll let you taste it too, explosive flame. Lu Chenggong's fist immediately turned into a high-speed spinning flame cone that went straight through the magma on Akainu's body, with a chirping sound. As if something melted, Akainu's body that had been elementalized was actually pierced through, and the elementalized body immediately recovered. No, impossible, you obviously don't use hockey, how can you penetrate my body after elementalization? Akainu's eyes were full of bloodshot eyes, and his mouth roared in disbelief. Have you forgotten? In the confrontation of the same energy, the weak will only be swallowed and assimilated by the strong, and the burning fruit is just garbage used in Ace's hands, but now the person who uses this ability is me. Burning fruit is one of my favorite abilities. When I have nothing to do, I am also thinking about studying these abilities. I like the ability, no matter how high your magma temperature is. I will give you more than 1300 Baidu, but burning fruit in my hand can burst with the temperature of the sun. You know it, then you are convinced that you are defeated. After Lu Chenggong finished speaking, he directly withdrew his right hand, turned over and hit Akainu's head with an elbow. Akainu, who finally came out of the underground of Marine headquarters, returned to the ground again. Is the gap really that big? Ace stared blankly at Lu Chenggong. As a person with the ability to burn fruit, he was actually that much worse than Lu Chenggong, who was not a person with the ability to burn fruit. He knew very well that facing Akainu, his own flame would definitely be swallowed up by assimilation, but now Lu Chenggong actually used the burning fruit to such a powerful level. He knows that Lu Chenggong is not bragging. As a person who can burn fruit, he knows it best. The power of Lu Chenggong's explosion just now is absolutely like the sun. but it is extremely controlled by Lu Chengkong's infinite compression and condensation. Okay. Therefore, these flames seem to be the same as ordinary flames, without emitting a trace of aftermath, otherwise the aftermath of the sun-like temperature leaking out is extremely terrifying. It's a pity that it fell into the hands of Ace, but it was a bit of a waste. At least it was a waste now, and I don't know if it will be like this in the future. Ace, you know Dad, I never like to talk about words, I always like to be straight. You and him are indeed very different, it's not just a matter of strength, your aptitude is very good, and people with King's aptitude will be worse. Is it? You are only poor in consciousness and spirit. The biggest difference between you and him lies in your heart and consciousness. That kid is right, there is no right or wrong power, and it is not Roger's. Conqueror Haki can be the existence given to you by God. Those talents will not grasp the development of their own talents and lead to death. Do you think if you learned Conqueror from me in the past few years, you would still be so powerless in the face of Blackbeard? Whitebeard glanced lovingly at the man in front of him who he treated like a son. Dad, maybe you're right, because my willfulness and stubbornness almost killed you and the Whitebeard pirates. I should know what to do in the future. Fire Fist Ace suddenly raised his head, and a powerful haki burst out from him. Fortunately, the people standing beside him were not weak, otherwise he might have been suffocated by him. Sure enough, it's the king's seed. His heart has been transformed this time to survive. It's impossible to catch him in the future. Sengoku's face was so gloomy that water was about to drip. It can be seen that there is something wrong with Ace's mind. Now that he has experienced the catastrophe, not only has he not died as in the original book, but has changed a bit, and he will be troubled in the future. If one is bad, another Whitebeard and another Roger may appear. Sengoku, you can't be distracted when fighting. Lu Chengkong's evil laughter suddenly sounded in Sengoku's ears. Almost at the same time, Sengoku knew that it was not good. Unfortunately, he forgot that Lu Chengkong is not only very powerful in fruit ability, but also haki and physical skills. In his words, Laozi's strongest is not fruit ability, but physical skills and haki. Devil profound truth. 6 demon spears. Lu Chengkong's fists fused together, the air in front of the two fists distorted rapidly, and a black shock wave burst out from the two fists, hitting Sengoku directly. The copper skin and iron bones with amazing defensive power seemed to be completely disintegrated in an instant. Don't forget that even the 6 King's Spear of the original Ra Bluchi has the ability to directly attack the internal organs of the body, not to mention the 6 demons that are countless times stronger than the 6 King's Spear. Grab! Ah! Sengoku screamed and vomited blood. The marshal's clothes immediately shattered, and the powerful impact immediately blasted him out. If it wasn't for Garp on the side, seeing that the situation was wrong, he would immediately pick him up. It is possible that this marshal will become the first marshal to be drowned by seawater since the establishment of Marine headquarters. It's too late to talk about it. Although I said so much, it has only been about 10 seconds since the beginning of Sengoku. In the face of all the forces of the Marine headquarters and the cooperation of the 3 CPOs, Sengoku and Akainu are actually in 1 second. He has been brought down in a row. Sengoku is at least better. Originally, he has a strong vitality, and the fruit he eats is the prototype Buddha, so now it is just a serious injury, and it will heal in a month or 2. But Akainu was tragic. He was pierced by the sun-like flames through his chest and buried in the ground. The degree of death was extremely high, and the chance of surviving was extremely small. 265 is down. Laser. The Kid Kizaru saw the opportunity, and when Lu Chengkong attacked Sengoku without distraction, he also started his obscene sneak attack. Boom. It's a pity that this light wave hit Lu Chengkong, but it penetrated directly through Lu Chengkong's body, as if Lu Chengkong was just a projection. What kind of ability? Is this the fruit ability? Impossible, as long as the fruit ability is elemental, it will still be hit by armament haki. Kizaru shook his head in annoyance and couldn't understand. What kind of ability does Dad have? Elementalization. It's not like that. Marco asked with a puzzled look, as did the others around him. I don't know either. It should be an extremely powerful fruit ability. It may also be the same ability that only appeared in legends like the Fruit of Light. Whitebeard shook his head. What he knew was very limited, but unfortunately he didn't have it at all. Notice that Angelina was proudly raising her little head on the new Xiaoyao at this moment, looking very arrogant. Since you have experienced this ability, then you still want it. Kuzan, I said, your attacks are ineffective against me. Lu Chengkong watched the wind, the meteorite, and the ice dragon and Kuzan facing each other. The attack that came, shook his head disdainfully, and stood in place without dodging or dodging. These unique moves were still as ineffective as Kizaru's attack. Hee, don't you think that this ability of mine is just dodging, right? The speed of light is very fast. Can you pass space and time faster? Today, I will let you try the ability to go beyond space and beyond time. Nothingness. Lu Chengkong folded his hands together, and a chaotic energy emerged directly from his body. It seemed that the flow rate was not too fast. When it was strange that this energy moved, it gave everyone an inability to dodge and surpass the feeling of speed of everything. What is this? Although Kizaru and the others didn't know what it was, they instinctively told him that these energies were very dangerous, and they wanted to leave, but a strange scene appeared. The fastest Kizaru found himself flying no matter where he was. No matter where, the energy of nothingness always follows him. It looks tangible, but in fact it is invisible and invisible, everywhere, no matter where Kizaru escapes, he can't escape from the enveloping energy of nothingness. What's going on? How is this possible? Kizaru was really panicked now. It was the first time he faced a speed faster than him, and he obviously understood this when he saw Lu Chengkong's playful smile. The energy didn't surround him, apparently to tease him. Originally, it was invisible and invisible, but in order to let you clearly feel the terrifying power of this fruit, I specially let you see the energy of nothingness, glint glint fruit. Turn it into nothingness. Lu Chengkong suddenly issued. His mind moved. Kizaru, who turned wood into light, stopped strangely, and fell directly from the air. My fruit ability. How could this be? Kizaru shouted in disbelief. He clearly felt as if the innate fruit ability had been completely deprived, not the kind that was previously the feeling that the light fruit is sealed, but completely no longer exists. It seems that you still don't understand, but you will understand if you look at this. Lu Chengkong came to Kizaru instantly and kicked him into the sea with one foot. Unfortunately, the next scene made them open their mouths in surprise. Kizaru, who seemed to them to be was able to swim up from the sea, and there was no sign of a landlubber at all. How is it possible that Kizaru is the ability person of glint glint fruit? Isn't he a landlubber? All the ability people present were surprised, of course, except those who knew the fruitless fruit. That's right, Kizaru was still a glint glint fruit capable person before, or a landlubber, but just now I have turned his glint glint fruit into nothingness, as if it never existed. Then glint glint fruit does not exist, how could he be a landlubber? Lu Chengkong shrugged his shoulders and said in a casual tone, but what he did made people gasp. Is there anyone else who is his opponent? It's okay to be able to use the abilities of all abilities, but now he can completely extinguish the abilities of the abilities, and change back to what it was before eating the devil fruit, then he is not invincible. Is it? Ace, Marco and Whitebeard, all the captains of the red-haired pirates, and all the pirates shouted in horror. Hawkeye, I believe him a little bit now, and I understand why you are so confident in him being able to do that. The red hair looked at Hawkeye, and Hawkeye seemed to greet him as if he had felt something. Looking at the red-haired eyes, it seems that I see it. How correct my decision is, he can definitely rule the Great Waterway. This era already belongs to him. It belongs to Lu Chengkong's era, and it belongs to his Happy Pirates era. After being surprised, Whitebeard burst into laughter, sincerely happy for Lu Chengkong, without any jealousy. Sengoku, it is unfortunate to be an enemy of such a person. It seems that your decision to kill him was a mistake. Garp also looked at Lu Chengkong in shock, and said to Sengoku who was being supported by him. Bullshit, talking about this now. Ah, it hurts, Bastard Garp, don't you know that I am a wounded now? Sengoku said very unhappily, but Garp on the side just pressed Sengoku lightly, only a scream could be made. I'm very satisfied with today's battle. Although I've only fought for a while, I haven't done my best for a long time. Then you can all die and turn into nothingness. Lu Chengkong's eyes turned cold, and his murderous aura flashed past. The 5 fingers of the right hand are wide open and pressed against the 3 of the CPO across a distance of tens of meters. Ah, my body, I am obviously elementalized, how could this be? The power and mystery of the void fruit is not something that people of their level can understand. The bodies of the 3 CPOs start from the feet to the top. The 3 people who were still alive just now disappeared, as if they had never been to this world, and many people present felt chills. There are only the 3 of you left now, Sengoku, Garp, Kuzan. Lu Chengkong turned around and looked at the 3 remaining members of Marine's highest combat power. Win or lose, whether it's a pirate or a marine, I've been ready to die since the first day I came out. Sengoku motioned Garp to let go of himself. At this moment, Sengoku was not as rude as before. Instead, he stood up without a trace of fear and quietly waited for the arrival of death. This aura of looking down on death is also admirable, as expected. Marshal of Marine Headquarters. 266 Gorosei, 5 elders appear. Sengoku, the way you look now shows me that you are a marshal. Sengoku, do you know where you lost? Lu Chengkong Hihi Isho, yes, the previous Sengoku paid too much attention to just scheming and liked to keep everything under control within the palm of the hand. What? Sengoku said quietly, not at all afraid of a dying person. As a marshal, what you want to do is not to conspire, but to control the overall situation, and get the greatest benefit with the smallest effort. Conspiracy and calculation are just small things. What you need to do should be conspiracy, and let people know that you are in front of you. The traps dug must also be jumped into. Quote. Lu Chengkong's words made Sengoku bow his head and ponder. He suddenly woke up and realized that he really paid too much attention to these things before. This piece of wood is not the demeanor that a marshal should have. Not only did he not control the overall situation, but he often let himself be controlled by the overall situation. Apparently he is the resourceful general, and the resourceful general. Over the years, Sengoku has won the nickname of the resourceful general in Marine with his strong strength and new tricks. Unfortunately, it is precisely because of this that he, who is only good at new tricks, can't be like the Emperor at all. Balance control of all Marine's strength, can control all the overall situation, rather than being controlled by the overall situation. Just like now, after the big event starts, Sengoku can't control the overall situation, but is led by the nose. Know what? Everything is irreversible. What should end is to end. We Marine lost this battle. Sengoku suddenly became a little enlightened, but unfortunately he was right. Everything should be over. Failure means death. Just when Lu Chengkong was about to start, he sounded very old, but he was full of anger and completely lost his temper. A little weak feeling. Sengoku, have you already forgotten us? You can't die yet. The marshal of your headquarters was killed in Marine Kaib, so will Marine still have prestige in the future? The lifeless Sengoku immediately burst into a strong light of survival. I'm very sorry, I didn't expect to disturb you guys. Sengoku didn't have the restraint that a marshal should have at this time, but instead bowed to the source of the sound like a schoolboy waiting for the teacher to blame. This is Sengoku's performance, and the sudden appearance of this voice immediately attracted everyone's attention, only to see 5 people appearing at the top of the highest building in Marine Kaib. To be precise, it was already 5 old men who looked very old, even much older than the previous Whitebeard, but Sengoku's attitude was such that people couldn't despise the 5 old men above. Damn, variables often appear like this. Don't the big bosses like to pretend to be B? No wonder everyone who pretends to be B appears in the highest place when they debut, looking down on all beings. Lu Chengkong thought a bit speechless, but his face was unprecedentedly serious. He had seen the appearance of these 5 people from the anime. Although so many years had passed, Lu Chengkong still recognized who these 5 people were at a glance. Gorosei, 5 elders. But Lu Chengkong was not the only one, and Whitebeard also exclaimed not far away. I didn't expect the Gorosei, 5 elders to die of old age after all these years. The strength of the body has not weakened with the aging of the body, but has become better than before. What, Whitebeard, the 5 of them are the supreme rulers of the world government, the Gorosei, 5 elders. Are they alive so far? The red-haired Tone was a little surprised. As far as he knew, the Gorosei, 5 elders were already very old when they attacked Whitebeard. After so many years, even if they didn't die, they had degraded very much. How could they still look so strong? It looks like it's going to die in no time. Yo, Whitebeard, remember the old man, I didn't expect you to recover, and you have reached the same level of existence as us. I am really surprised by the old man. One of the shortest, fattest, hairless men in the Gorosei, 5 elders suddenly spoke to Whitebeard, and he could guess from the tone of voice that this man was the deputy captain who killed Whitebeard, injured Rayleigh, and caused Whitebeard to suffer irreparable damage. The one whose strength has not improved at all for so many years, the one with the ability of the Fruit of Death, Alchiba, one of the Gorosei, 5 elders. Of course I remember. I wanted to remove your head day and night. I thought there was no chance. But it seems that God is still very kind to me. It would be great if you didn't die. Whitebeard sneered. Obviously, the deputy captain of his Whitebeard pirates and many powerful members were killed by the person in front of him. He wanted to take his life day and night, and now he has this. There is a chance. Bai Hu Ti, who has broken down and stood up, has returned to its peak physical function. His life expectancy has returned to his 20s and 30s, and he may not lose to Alchiba even if he works hard. Really, I'm waiting for you. Although Alchiba said it easily, he didn't dare to underestimate Whitebeard at this time. Whitebeard's vitality and willpower can only be described as a monster. Being tortured and tortured by his own death energy for so many years not only failed to destroy Whitebeard's will, but instead made Baihu broken and became stronger. You can see how scary he is. That's it, the first generation of the Supreme Sword. The sharp-eyed Juliana noticed the only swordsman in Gorosei, 5 elders for the first time. If the original Eagle Eye is the existence that countless swordsmen flocked to in the era of the great pirates, then this swordsman in Gorosei, 5 elders is Roger, who countless swordsmen in the Whitebeard era and even before them wanted to challenge. It's a pity that he has existed for too long, and has witnessed the end and opening of many eras, and Gorosei, 5 elders have not come out for so many years. Countless people including Marine think they have become history. Couldn't bear the wasted years and died of old age, but now they are not only living well, but their strength does not seem to have diminished. Little girl, your eyesight is very good. This sword has been in the dust for a long time. I didn't expect you to recognize it at a glance. To be honest, I am very surprised by your existence. In terms of qualifications alone, there are many swordsmen present, such as Hawkeye, and the green-haired kid whose aptitude is above you, but your achievements are beyond the limit of your aptitude. This makes the old man very puzzled. Can you answer it for me? For a second. 267 seal broken. The words that the swordsman in Gorosei, 5 elders suddenly spit out caused countless pirates and marines below to make a noise. It was unbelievable. Juliana, one of the strongest swordsmen in the world, was actually a swordsman with poor qualifications, but her achievements have surpassed countless aptitudes and talents better than her. For a while, not to mention Gorosei, 5 elders, even Hawkeye and others are curious about why Gulena is capable and not. It's very simple, because of the words of my captain and husband, my life is not up to me, and my birth is determined by God. Since innate is not comparable to others, and women are inherently weaker than men in swordsman strength and physical fitness, if I'm complaining, if I don't take the time to improve and make up for my innate deficiencies, then am I not even worse? Words are very simple. In the 2nd and 1st centuries, as long as these words are novels, anyone who has read some books will understand them, but there are only a few people who can really do it, and those who can persist until they die. There are a few, and Gulena is undoubtedly one of them. It's a good sentence. My fate is my own. It's no wonder that your free pirates have repeatedly created battles that countless people call miracles. In the eyes of incompetent people, they can't do miracles, but I think in your opinion, you all take it for granted that you can achieve this. Quote. Even though the two sides were enemies, the swordsman Adonis of the Gorosei, 5 elders couldn't help but clapped his hands in praise when he heard this. That's right. Sure enough, all the members of the Happy Pirates, and even Nami, who had just joined the group, nodded their heads and admitted Adonis' words. Obviously, they thought so too, and entered happy. The members of the pirate group were all infected by Lu Chengkong. It is better to find a way to change than to be born as a human being. They all have a thought in their hearts, that is, Juliana said just now that my life is up to me. Sky. Unfortunately, such a group of talents did not come from our marine. It seems that marine has really fallen, and a major purge is needed to reawaken marine's blood. In Gorosei, 5 elders, Alves, who wears a hat and has a stare-like beard on his upper lip and chin, glanced at the members of the Easy Pirates, and could not help but cherish his talents. But after all, they are all old antiques that have existed for a long time. The firmness of their minds is simply appalling, and it is easy to control their thoughts and emotions. As soon as they appear, they are suppressed by him. It's better to be realistic than these future events. Whether Marine will have a chance to be changed by you in the future is still an uncertain question. Do you think that the 5 of you will join forces to kill us? Lu Chengkong laughed wildly. Gorosei, 5 elders hearing that, although they didn't say anything, they knew they were telling everyone by looking at them, didn't they? In fact, they all know that the Gorosei, 5 elders in front of them are definitely at the same level as the Whitebeard after they are broken and stand up, and they are even stronger by a point or two. It is an unchangeable fact. But Lu Chengkong is so confident and his arrogant laughter gives them hope. Yes, this group of guys who like to create miracles and legends may be able to do things that others cannot. I know from Hawkeye that you are not dead, and that your strengths are both powerful and terrifying, and I have already secretly thought about what to do with you in the future. Do you think that I will bring the whole Easy Pirates to the Marine headquarters with great fanfare? Do you expect you to come out? Since I dare to come, I am fully prepared. Lu Chengkong smiled confidently, glanced at Khalifa and Angelina. The latter nodded at the same time. Angelina had not done much since joining the Happy Pirates, and it could even be said that she acted in a low-key manner and sold out. Keeping a low profile seems to have no desire to fight, but it is not. She just put away everything about herself, put down her strength, and accepted everything in this world with the mentality of an ordinary daughter who doesn't understand anything, and learns about herself. Lack of. Over the past few years, Angelina's low profile and even Juliana of the Happy Pirates have ignored her strength and only regarded her as a weak Catwoman who could hide it from her own eyes. My own people, such talents are terrifying, because Angelina has learned the most terrifying ability of human beings, that is, to hide all their talents, and only show their strength at critical moments, turning the tide of the battle in one fell swoop. The woman of Tenryubito was right. Angelina's bloodline is noble, her aptitude and talent are unparalleled, and she deserves to be the direct descendant of the 20 kings who established the world government. She has learning ability, fighting talent, ability to accept, and scheming. Means, the city government is all proudly standing above countless people, and it can even be said that it is already beneficial to the peak, and with a little effort the day after tomorrow, it can reach the point that countless people can't reach. The other side of nothingness is reality. Nothingness does not exist, then the truth hidden under nothingness will appear in the world. Remove it. Break the seal. Khalifa and Angelina said something incomprehensible at the same time, but as soon as their voices fell, chaotic and golden energy bloomed and fell on Lu Chengkong, Hancock, Angelina and Khalifa herself. Roar. First Lu Chengkong, when the void energy and light energy shrouded in him slowly disappeared, he couldn't help but let out a low roar, as if something was emerging from his body, followed by Hancock, Angelique Na, Khalifa and the 3 girls, one after the other, let out a soft moan. The momentum of the 4 of them began to rise steadily. Lu Chengkong, who had already entered the first stage of the demon transformation, took the lead in breaking through the flaws and reached the same level as Whitebeard, Gorosei, 5 elders, and the women behind him. It seems that Lu Chengkong is not to be outdone when he sees Lu Chengkong's success so quickly. One by one, they have reached the same level of existence as Gorosei, 5 elders and others. This is really a miracle, it's too fake. This idea appeared in the hearts of countless people, whether it was marine and pirates here, or watching some supernovas here through live broadcasts, or the Revolutionary Army has the same idea. The kind of strong wood that appeared in the Gorosei, 5 elders just now turned marine from a weak point to an incomparably strong one, surpassing the pirates, but in a blink of an eye, there were 4 Gorosei, 5 pirates in the Happy Pirates. The elders of a level of power, plus Whitebeard's words are already 5 to 5, forming a world of great competition. No one can do anything. 268 trigger. How is that possible? Even though they had seen countless talents, countless strong winds and waves, the Gorosei, 5 elders, who had long been calm, couldn't help but be surprised when they saw Lu Chengkong's changes. Don't you understand? Then let me tell you, the most terrifying islands in the Great Waterway are no more than 5 islands. Except for the most mysterious Laugh-Tale and the Dragon Island, which has never let outsiders go deep into the core, we the Happy Pirates have all gone. A long time ago, the strength of the 4 of us had reached the peak of the 4 emperors, but we were unable to break through, so I thought of Whitebeard. Never give up and become stronger. So I thought, the way to become stronger is to retreat if you don't advance. Since you can't force a breakthrough, you can only accumulate a lot, so I asked Angelina to use the fruit of nothingness to bring us to the peak of the 4 emperors without us resisting. Our strength turned into nothingness, fell to the point where we just reached the 4 emperors, and then let Khalifa leave countless seals on us. If you want to regain your strength, you have to rely on your own efforts to walk again. If you want to become stronger, you have to break a seal that is far stronger than your own strength. At that moment, we all felt that the bottleneck was loosened, so, the existence of the last seal is just superfluous. The savings are already strong enough to break through the 4 emperors. Breaking this last seal by myself is just a waste of savings. It is better to unlock the last seal and take advantage of the loose bottleneck in one breath. So after it was lifted, just like Whitebeard, it accumulated a lot, broke and stood up. Lu Chengkong spoke out what he had done over the years in one breath, and finally the sullenness that had always existed in his heart was finally released, and it was a good thing to find someone to talk to. It's just that Lu Chengkong and the others seem to be simple, but in fact they are crazy and bold, but they make everyone change their minds. In this world of great pirates where strength is supreme, who can give up such a powerful strength and fall down to practice again? Even Whitebeard dared not say that he would dare to make such a decision. After all, in this world, one more strength is one more security. This kind of approach is too crazy, too dangerous and extreme, but it has to be said that wealth are sought after risk, and the amount of effort will be of great benefit. Lu Chengkong and the other 4 obviously bet right. Not only did they get back all the chips they threw out, but they also got all the benefits they wanted, and they won. After a period of silence, the 5 Gorosei, 5 elders looked at each other and saw shock and fear in each other's eyes. Such a group of crazy people never satisfied with the status quo. In order to become stronger, people who can achieve this level are really it's too scary. If you still admired it before, then now it's apprehensive. Since he has already formed a grudge with such a terrifying enemy, he must not let the other party survive. The members of the Free Pirates in front of him are all light, and none of them are over 30 years old. If they are not killed this time, then it's not their world in the future. Marine is just a joke to them. This group of young people must be too terrifying, too crazy, to not kill them. Marine can't rest easy. No matter how much they pay, even death will kill them. They are all ruthless and decisive people. They have made up their minds in an instant. Even if they die, they will leave the free and easy pirates. After that, they no longer hide their killing intent, and their eyes are fierce. 5 cold murderous auras came out from them and pressed against Lu Chengkong and the others. Gorosei, 5 elders also have their own support for doing this. Yes, Lu Chengkong's group has amazing potential and crazy, but they have not lived in vain for so many years. It has been so many years that they have reached their level, although they are not making a huge breakthroughs, but in any case even the same level of powerhouses are divided into high and low strengths. They have reached the level of surpassing the four emperors for many years. Of course, their strength is of course not to mention. Even if Lu Chengkong and others have reached it, there is a huge difference between just breaking through and breaking through for a long time. In the past, the Whitebeards of the four emperors were all at the same level, but in a one-on-one match, they were completely different, and now they are incomparable. So in the hearts of Gorosei, 5 elders, they all have such a common idea, and they have to pay a certain price. It must be able to kill the happy pirates. As I said, all the grievances between me and Marine are understood today. You want to kill me and fear us. Why don't we? A war is inevitable, Kuzan. If you don't want Marine headquarters to become ruins, it's here. Build a great battlefield above the sea. Lu Chengkong didn't choose to run away. In fact, if it was just him, Hancock, Khalifa, and Angelina, the Gorosei 5 elders couldn't help them, but the rest of the happy pirates would definitely die as soon as they left. So Lu Chengkong couldn't run away and didn't want to run away. Isn't fighting someone stronger than himself what he longed for? He has been silent for too long, and he has had no opponents in the past few years. As his companions, Angelina and the 4 of them couldn't be ruthless and attack each other, so they could only learn from each other. How can they let go of such a rare opportunity now? And let go of all the burdens? After Lu Chengkong's 4 people can only win but not lose, there is a strong fighting spirit in their hearts. Kuzan nodded, although Lu Chengkong also has his own abilities, but he knows that they are all fighting each other with imposing manners. How can there be such a spare time to do this? So he can only work hard for this admiral. He also didn't want the Marine headquarters to be affected and destroyed by these 10 perverted helms, and he also wanted to see who would win in this unprecedented battle. Such battles are very rare. Maybe it is possible that he can get a sense of it to make his strength even further, so he is happy to do this seemingly hard work. Ice Age. Kuzan and Garp can be said to be people who haven't been hurt very much, so they are more comfortable using their abilities, and this time Kuzan can be said to have paid a lot of money. The range of the ice cover and the hardness of the ice layer are far it's not comparable to the previous one. Obviously I want to make the battlefield as big as possible. Then choose your opponent. It can be said that Lu Chengkong is now the leader of the 5, because when he is not in the state of demon transformation, his strength is beyond the existence of the 4 emperors, and after entering the demon transformation, he surpasses Hancock and others. It can be said that it is only a little worse than the Gorosei 5 elders who are more difficult to surpass the 4 emperors, but judging from his confident appearance, it is obvious that he also has his own cards. 269 Founder of Rokushiki. Dana, do you have all kinds of feelings in your heart? There was a time when both of them were your students, and they were just ants in front of you, but now you, a teacher, can only rely on them to protect you. Gu Lina suddenly said to Dana, who was beside her with complicated eyes. Yeah, my mood is very complicated. As a teacher, I should be proud to see that my students are better than Blue, but on the other hand, seeing that they are progressing so fast, they have already surpassed me. Lu Chengkong is right, but Khalifa, it's not the king's aptitude, it's only armament, and observation hockey has reached this level, which makes me a little incomprehensible. Portgas D. Dana didn't hide it and directly admitted it. It's no wonder that Khalifa S is the fruit of light. She leaves at this speed and secretly hides in an unknown place to cultivate and we can't find it, and have you forgotten? Since Khalifa is the ability of the fruit of light, then for this the understanding of the fruit is definitely not comparable to those of us outsiders. Lu Chengkong can think of this method, don't you think the previous Khalifa didn't think of it? Did you forget what I just said? My life is in my hands, and we can't see her when she hides in an unknown place and becomes stronger and makes inhuman efforts. Juliana said with a chuckle as if she had realized something. It seems that I am at the top of the horns. I have always believed that the achievements of people with poor qualifications are limited. Now it seems that qualifications are important, but the more important thing is the hard work of the day after tomorrow. Portgas D. Dana also understood something. After saying such a sentence, he closed his mouth and quietly looked at Lu Chengkong and the others who had already assigned opponents. I really want to challenge the swordsman in the Gorosei 5 Elders. It's a pity that we don't have a chance to fight, Mahak said with a bit of envy, his sharp eyes staring at the swordsman Ya. Dunes, the one with the sword in Gorosei 5 Elders. The battle here has surpassed all previous battles, and is even more powerful than Roger's weapon. The 5 supreme rulers of the world government can be shot together. Who can fight with such a person? Bird Marco looked at the 10 powerhouses who surpassed the 4 emperors in front of him, and his mood was also a little excited. After all, this once-in-a-lifetime battle cannot be encountered at any time. Luffy, open your eyes to see clearly. You are going to be One Piece, King of Pirates, then you will challenge them in the future, challenge this group of people who are dedicated to creating legends. Rayleigh's voice suddenly sounded, thinking that the Sabayati archipelago was not destroyed in the original book, so he didn't come to the big event, but now he was destroyed by Shirahoshi's summoned Sea Kings, and the appearance of Gorosei 5 Elders forced him to come here. Uncle Rayleigh, I understand. Although Luffy has a lot of nerves, his IQ at critical moments is still beyond ordinary people. Looking at his piercing eyes, he knows that he is now in a calm and rational state. Hey, this kind of battle is really exciting. I didn't expect that I would have the chance to see it. Although Brook is a musician, he is also a swordsman, so he, like Zoro, is staring at Hawkeye. Adonis. Cut. Zoro and Sanji spit out the same syllable, but their eyes were looking at the 10 people standing in front of the frozen sea. They didn't dare to relax for a moment, obviously they didn't want to miss any of this battle. Place. Introduce yourself, the person who is about to kill you. Argel, one of the Gorosei 5 Elders, the founder of Marine Rokushiki. His waist is as straight as a staircase, his beard is as slender as hair, and the tallest person in the Gorosei 5 Elders is Lu Chengkong. As soon as Argel's words came out, everyone who had practiced Rokushiki breathed a suffocation. I really didn't expect that a Rokushiki practitioner like me would challenge the founder of Rokushiki one day. It really makes me more and more excited. The corner of Lu Chengkong's mouth outlined an arrogant arc, and it was obvious that Alger's words made him even more excited. Rokushiki's strongest and his own demon Rokushiki are finally going to win. I saw it at a glance, so I chose you as my opponent, to let you know that Marine Rokushiki is not so useless as those Marines use, let you experience for yourself what is the real Marine Rokushiki before you die. Shave. Alger is indeed a decisive person. Obviously, he is a bit like Rob Lucci. Devil Rokushiki. Shun. Lu Chengkong is also not to be outdone. You have Marine Rokushiki and I also have Demon Rokushiki. You have Shaved, and I also have Shun. The founder of Marine Rokushiki is also the strongest and finally began the first confrontation with Demon Rokushiki. Both sides they all used the same stunt, and they turned into one after another that could not be captured by the naked eye, as if the speed had exceeded the limit that humans could achieve. Rankyaku Tempest Kick. Above the sky, Alger's body that had been moving at super high speed suddenly appeared, and kicked a half-moon vacuum slash at the bottom. It was big, too big. Alger's vacuum slash was really too big. The coverage is so terrifying that Lu Chengkong can't dodge at all, and he doesn't want to dodge, so he can only stand up and fight. Zongkong. Lu Chengkong did not show any weakness. The same trick, even bigger than Alger's Rankyaku Tempest Kick, shot out, one above, one below. Rankyaku Tempest Kick and Zongkong they slammed into each other hard. GG. A screeching sound of friction continued to rippling out like thunder, and the space in the center of the collision between Rankyaku Tempest Kick and Zongkong was distorted, as if the space would be distorted and shattered at any time. It's amazing, but I'm sorry, your kind of talent was not born in Marine, you can only obliterate it. Shigen Finger Pistol. Lan. Alger didn't expect Lu Chengkong's Demon Rokushiki to be able to compare with his Rokushiki. It must be known that although the Marine Rokushiki he taught has not decreased as much as his practice, he is the only founder who can achieve this level. He did not expect Lu Changkong, who has not been practicing Rokushiki for a long time, actually developed a more powerful demon Rokushiki on the basis of marine Rokushiki. If he is given a little time to run in, it is entirely possible for him to surpass his own Rokushiki. So Alger didn't plan to let the other party live. Lu Changkong, no, it should be that all the members of the Happy Pirates are too threatening, and they have seriously damaged the balance of the world. Uneasy. I saw that Alger stretched out 2 index fingers from each of his hands, connecting the dots across a space of tens of meters away, and a terrible scene appeared. The blue-white light shot at Lu Changkong as fast as it was about to cut through the void. 270 buried in the sea. Magic finger empty. Lu Changkong looked at the blue-white light blasting towards Beiji like a laser. His expression remained unchanged, his right hand bent into a claw, and thrust forward like a black tiger digging its heart. 5 jet black rays of light came out from the 5 fingers and directly collided with Argel's Shigan, finger pistol, land silently, cancelling each other out without making a sound or spreading out a trace of aftermath. Obviously, the two of them, the control of power has reached an unimaginable level. Great, but what about this move, Renkyaku Tempest Kick Leiyu? Although the two sides were enemies, Alger couldn't help but show a hint of admiration on his face, but the movements on his feet didn't stop at all, like a whip with a kick in the air, like a leg, a 3 meter thick like a vacuum slash, like a thunder and lightning that has life and intelligence, jumping forward and leaping forward, cut through the void at a speed that the naked eye can't catch, and slammed directly on Lu Changkong's body. Although this move is not my most powerful stunt, it is definitely the fastest. Unless you are a space fruit person who can move instantaneously, or a time fruit person who can stop time, you can't dodge at all. Alger murmured, his tone was full of white letters. This was not pretending, but the confidence and white letters that were built on strong enough strength. It's really fast, not even slower than Enel's Thunderbolt, but you're wrong, I never thought to dodge. When the white smoke mold slowly receded, Lu Changkong's body, which had been covered up, was revealed. Except for the Happy Pirates and the red-haired pirates who had already seen this form, the others were stunned when they saw Lu Changkong's appearance at this time, speechless. Devil Transformation. Stage 2, Demon Body. That's right, Lu Changkong knew that he couldn't fight against Alger's attack just now. It was simply skill, speed, and strength. The timing was all perfectly blended together, and it was a perfect hit. Although they can turn into nothingness to escape with the ability of Angela's fruitless fruit, but this way, Beiji's momentum is suppressed. After all, although the two of them did not say it clearly, even outsiders can already see it. This is the battle between Marine Rokushiki and the Demon Rokushiki. There is absolutely no way to retreat. If you take a step back, you will be doomed. Therefore, Lu Changkong can only display the trump cards that he has put away. To be honest, he has not entered the second stage of demon transformation in the past few years, and even when he first met with the red hair, he did not use it to fight. After all, this state it's terrifying. It is not only an increase in strength, but also an increase in the power of the Demon Emperor Haki. The power increase of Haki is unprecedented. It can be said that the strength of Lu Changkong in the first stage of the demon transformation is more than Angelina, Khalifa, Hancock 3. Female, if she is weaker than Gorosei, 5 elders, then she is now 1 point stronger than Argel, one of the Gorosei, 5 elders in front of her. This is only in strength, not counting the Demon Emperor Haki. If these Hakis are included, I can't imagine it. This is Lu Changkong's confidence and trump card against Gorosei, 5 elders. He doesn't need to be afraid at all, because Beiji is stronger than them, even if he can't beat them. 5 people join thousands of people, but if they are one-on-one, Beiji can completely clean up one, and then go to help the others and defeat them one by one. Hiss, this is simply a demon. No, it's even scarier than a demon, one card after another, like a bottomless pit. Every time we thought he was at the end of the road, he would suddenly turn over and become the master and become stronger. Quote. Sengoku looked at Lu Changkong, who looked like an arrogant, violent, and terrifying demon emperor with complex eyes, with all kinds of feelings in his heart. Forget Sengoku, when I first saw him, I knew that he would not be in the pool in the future. After the failure to encircle him, I knew that he would soar into the sky and unstoppable, but I didn't expect it. It will be so fast, and it will still use Marine as a stepping stone to take off. Garp is much more dashing than standing. Captain, fortunately we didn't fight him at that time, otherwise we wouldn't know how to die. Usopp swallowed. Although he wasn't afraid of death, it didn't mean he liked to die in vain, and it was still meaningless. For the first time, I think what you said makes sense. The red-haired nodded in agreement. The two looked at each other as they spoke, and a dazzling fire suddenly shone at the place where their eyes met. Looking at each other, Nami and Nojiko, who thought they had a base relationship, were extremely cold, and secretly thought that they didn't expect the red hair with a heart as broad as the sea to be as good as Longyang. If the thoughts of Nami and other girls at this time are known by the red-haired and Usopp, who are in the dark, they may be really pissed off. This kind of love, and the object is still Usopp. I've become stronger again. What's the matter? The strength has suddenly increased so much, and it has surpassed me all at once. Alger could no longer maintain the calm look that he had just won, and his face became moved. Unfortunately, it was Lu Chengkong's fist that answered him. Let you see my true speed. Even if you are the founder of Rokushiki, the speed is far incomparable. Instant afterimage. The 4 demon wings behind Lu Chengkong suddenly fluttered, and his feet stepped on the ground 100 times, thousands of times in an instant, but the strange thing was that there was no sound at all, and it was not only Lu Chengkong's feet that stepped on the ground, but also the inside. The cells, blood tools, and internal organs of the muscles were all turned into terrifying weapons, and the power that erupted in an instant was extremely terrifying. Under this terrifying reaction force, Lu Chengkong's explosive speed reached a terrifying level. He rose from the ground, and Shunbai came to Alger. On the way, countless afterimages were pulled out, which really looked like his name. Instant afterimages instantly come to the enemy, and at the same time bring out countless afterimages that confuse the enemy. Devil profound truth. 6 demonic spears. This time, it was no longer 2 fists together, but 1 punch. The terrifying black shock wave hit Alger's stomach directly like a terrifying energy light wave. With a bang, Alger vomited blood and was slammed down by Lu Chengkong, and he was buried in the ice. Not only was such a terrifying power, Alger's body, like a cannonball flying backwards, directly pierced Kuzan's frozen sea with all his strength and transferred him into the sea thousands of meters below. Fortunately, he was not capable, otherwise it's over now. 271 All the women show their magical powers. Alger. When Lu Chengkong's strength skyrocketed in an instant, they didn't know it well, but when they were going to knock off Gebai's opponent and go to help with 1 punch, they underestimated Lu Chengkong's sudden explosion. Outspeed. As if shrinking into an inch, they appeared strangely inside Alger, and before they had time, Alger was already thrown into the sea by Lu Chengkong. Just when they saw Alger's condition and were distracted and shouted, Hancock and the others immediately seized this golden opportunity. Although they were also powerhouses that surpassed the 4 emperors, they had to say that Hancock, Khalifa, Angelina, and Whitebeard were 4. People still have a big gap against Gorosei, 5 elders, but they are not without their own trump cards. Especially the 3 Hancock daughters. One is the Emperor Color and the sweet fruit of enchanting heaven and earth, and the Emperor Rokushiki developed by combining the Emperor Color Haki. One is the fruit of nothingness and nothingness Rokushiki, Conqueror. One is the holy light Rokushiki and the fruit of light. That's right. Shungguang Rokushiki planned to tell Khalifa after Lu Chengkong had the idea of developing the demon Rokushiki. As a result, Khalifa also had the same idea when Lu Chengkong spoke, so the two of them said the idea at the same time. It was because they looked at each other in surprise, and finally their eyes were entangled with each other. Obviously, both of them thought that this was because they were in love with each other to the extreme. As for Hancock, she also had this idea at the beginning, but she gave up later, because her sweetness is really biased towards the spiritual type. Rokushiki is enough for her to use, and her main and strongest attacking stunt is not Rokushiki, so in the end she is to give up Rokushiki, because her fruit ability is enough to match the current Rokushiki, and there is no need to develop more powerful ones. But later, after awakening the Emperor color, she had this idea, and developed a unique attack stunt for the Emperor color, so there was the Emperor Rokushiki. As for Angelina, she just saw the stunts of Liu Changkong and the three of them. It was fun and inspirational for a while, and she also developed the Nothingness Rokushiki, but although they are all Rokushiki, there are just two different words in front, but the abilities of each white are different, and the special characteristics are completely different. You dare to be distracted in the face of Empress. Empress has already figured out your attack route. Although Empress is not as strong as you now, it does not mean that Empress cannot defeat you. Emperor Haki, open. Suddenly a wave of absolute strength, the domineering terrifying aura that seemed to tear the world apart burst out from Hancock, SUT and radiated out overwhelmingly. By Emperor Haki said that they couldn't bear this domineering force like Tianwei. The hard ice land was directly crushed, fragmented and developed. It seems that he can't bear the pressure and continues to decline. The sea seems to have no resistance, as if it does not exist, and then this piece of ice that was frozen by Kuzan continued to fall. Obviously, the sea was still, and under the Emperor's color Haki, without any resistance, only the white ice could continue to descend. What is this Haki? Why is my conqueror Haki feeling powerless in the face of this power, like a prince seeing the Emperor, unable to resist paying homage and bowing his head? Wearing a hat, the beard on the upper lip and chin forms a staircase. Gorosei Alves, one of the 5 elders, is a strong man who specializes in Haki, supplemented by physical skills. That's why Boa Hancock chose him to try the knife. After all, if his strength is too weak, it is not enough for Boa Hancock to use the Emperor's color Haki, and the Haki in front of him, especially the Gorosei 5 elders Alves of Conqueror, is the best. Choice. Hancock has already used his housekeeping skills, so if I reserve any more, it will not be very good. The goddess of brilliance, the goddess of light. Khalifa glanced at Boa Hancock, and immediately pursed her lips after seeing her using the Emperor's color Haki. Immediately, she was not hiding her strength. If she didn't make a move, she would be like Hancock and Liu Changkong. Live Gorosei 5 elders. As soon as Khalifa's words came out, her body suddenly burst into 1,000 radiance, an absolutely sacred, noble and inviolable temperament accompanied by terrifying light energy wrapped around her body. Abrupt Khalifa appeared 12 golden wings formed by completely white light energy, and the body was covered with a pair of white light energy composed of a battle suit specially made for Khalifa, which made Khalifa burst out with a kind of Valkyrie. The woman does not let the man's demeanor. The fruit of light, the fruit ability that ranks higher than the death fruit of the old guy Alkiba, is really well deserved, and falling into your hands not only does not tarnish this fruit ability, but brings it into full play. It's a pity that if you think this alone is enough to kill the old man, then you take us old guys too easy. That's right, Liu Changkong smashed Alger into the sea with one punch. Hancock's Emperor Haki, and even Khalifa's Goddess of Light, all of them moved Gorosei 5 elders, and even the 5 of them had a chance to be distracted, but don't forget that they are immortals after all. If there is only such a strength and no equally terrible trump card, then I think they are too incompetent. How firm their minds have been after living for so long, and they will calm down in an instant before and after, and return to the beginning. He was calm, as if he was telling everyone present that no matter how Liu Changkong and the others jumped, they could not change the ending of their fall. Really, I forgot to tell you, this ability of mine is not simply an increase in my strength, the power of all my unique moves has also increased, and after the strength is increased, the power of my original moves will also become stronger. But now the ability of the Goddess of Light will also increase the power of all my abilities. It is not as simple as 1 + 1 under the double superposition. Forget it, let you experience it for yourself, the Fist of Heaven. Khalifa suddenly sneered at Isho, looking at Adonis, who was holding one of the first generation of ghosts, Gorosei 5 elders, with a calm look. Without saying anything, a golden fire fist suddenly appeared in his right fist. The right fists are tightly wrapped together, and the light energy in the body continues to gather on it like pouring water, and then it compresses infinitely until it stops at the limit that Khalifa can currently achieve. Too late to say it, and even though I've said so much, the battle has only been less than a second since Khalifa's words came out, and Khalifa's fist of heaven was completed in less than a second, almost instantaneously, and not an ordinary fist of heaven, but an infinitely compressed terrifying stunt. 272 Whitebeard took expired Viagra. It's amazing, it's the old man who underestimated you, killing the evil spirits. Adonis really changed his face at this moment. He saw Khalifa's strength suddenly improve like Lu Chengkong, although it is not as exaggerated as Lu Chengkong. Gorosei, 5 elders, but it is a lot better than before, at least not much worse than Gorosei, 5 elders. Now I hear that not only the increase in strength, but also the power of some terrifying tricks of the Fruit of Light will also increase. Double stacking, plus this infinitely compressed heaven fist. If you eat this, you will not be able to walk away even if you are not dead or seriously injured. Ghost Chi, yes it is Ghost Chi, it is exactly the same as Zoro's 9 swords Asura, but the gap between the two is the sky and the earth, like a gap that is generally insurmountable. What a powerful ghost, this is the realm I pursue, yes, this is it. Zoro saw the appearance of Arduino after using his sword skills, and his eyes suddenly burst into a strong light. This is what he pursued the realm, now his ghost is just starting. Compared with Adonis, he is certainly far from reaching the pinnacle of achievement, but his tenacity of will is rare in the world. Not only did he not lose his confidence, but his competitive spirit became stronger. In fact, Juliana, Kuina, Duolong, and Kushiro are basically all from the same source. First of all, Juliana and Kushiro were taught by the father of Juliana, the captain of the White Sword Emperor pirates. Kuina and Zulong were taught by both of them. So no matter how they become stronger in the future, even if Zoro from the original book worshipped Hawkeye as his teacher, the essence of the people is still ghosts, but the intensity or type of ghosts are different. Zoro is Shira, and Juliana is evil spirits. As for Kushiro and Kuina, I don't know. One side is golden yellow, full of holy not breath, there is a kind of heavenly fist that judges all sins, and the other side is with endless terrifying ghost aura that seems to eat everything, forming a terrifying sword chi without any revolving. The leeway collided fiercely in midair, and 2 bottomless cracks immediately appeared in the ice. The good show is yet to come, the trial of light. That's right, the trial of light is like the compression and strengthening of the sun. It is no longer a super intensive group attack, but condensed into a powerful laser. On the platform, a tiny sun appeared between her hands. A layer of fiery golden flame suddenly erupted above the little sun, holy flame. At this moment, this little sun is the real miniature sun. It not only has a terrifying high temperature, but also has a strong bright energy, which are combined to compress and mix together. The power that suddenly burst out together is unimaginable. Ghost dance. Adonis's face sank, and his eyes flashed a dignified color. As his first-generation ghost waved, the ghost energy visible in his inner eyes surrounded Adonis' whole person, like an all-round defense without dead ends. At the moment when he completed these actions, a laser burning with golden flames had already slammed into his body. No, it's too powerful. Although Adonis had overestimated Khalifa's strength early in his mind, he did not expect Khalifa's attack, so the swordsman in the Gorosei, 5 elders only it is an honor to be the second dear brother to be blasted into the sea, and he and Alger have become famous brothers and sisters who have been swimming in the sea all the time. Chi. After the terrible judgment of light blasted Adonis into the sea, it also burned the ice into a bottomless cylindrical cave. Even if the sea could not fill the cave for a while, apparently the sea water near this cave was burned and evaporated by the holy flame attached to it. People who saw this situation took a deep breath. Even though the defensive sword skill was already used in the frontal hit by such a unique move, such a terrifying power still makes people want to think that Adonis is a bad guy. Crap. But he's lucky, not a person of ability, otherwise it would be even worse. Lackey said nonchalantly, as if Khalifa could make such an amazing performance for her to take for granted. Hee, only the sky is the most powerful. A person with a white body can fall into the sea as if nothing happened. Canis pursed his lips, Isho, and suddenly burst out with the lively and leisurely temperament of a music master. This kid is really different. He is still safe in the sea as a capable person. It seems that my vision is really good. If you win this time and come back safe and sound, then I will give you a surprise. From Nami, I know your preferences, and you are satisfied. If you can't lose, then I will die with you. Aunt Xiao, who had not spoken much, thought to herself. The determination and firmness in her eyes told everyone how unshakable her determination was. Kura la la la, Alchiba, 2 people on your side have already been beaten into the sea. It's really embarrassing. It's a pity that they are not capable people, otherwise it would look good. Hey, it's a pity. I knew me earlier. Just let the boy in the sky or the girl Khalifa fight you and blast you directly to the bottom of the sea, then it will save a lot of trouble. Quote. Whitebeard's current energy is very terrifying. Originally, he belongs to Giant Jing. Although he is not as tall as other Giant Jing, don't underestimate his strange strength, physical strength and vitality. He is the royal family in Giant Jing. The core characters, strength, bloodline, physical strength, and vitality are not comparable to those of giants who are not royals, and now his style of play is completely life for life. Even though Alkiba's strength was stronger than Whitebeard, he was at a disadvantage for a while in the face of such a crazy and desperate Whitebeard. Although he did not have the power to fight back, he was stably suppressed by Whitebeard. And Whitebeard also knows that Beiji is not the opponent's opponent. Baiji's ability to suppress the opponent is entirely due to his ruthless style of play and ruthlessness. When this momentum passes, Alchiba will quickly suppress Baiji, and then Baiji, the preemptive striker. It is impossible for the strong to come back, so he can only stimulate the opponent verbally. Damn, what did this Whitebeard do yesterday? Did he take expired Viagra? Damn, after this time, first have let Marine sweep all the shops that sell asterisk, and prohibit the sale of. Alkiba is already in a state of embarrassment at this moment, and he has no intention of answering Whitebeard. He can only hope that Whitebeard's ruthlessness and momentum will soon fade away. After all, he also knows Whitebeard's thoughts. Time, then Beiji will win. 273 with a knife in hand, I have the world. Hee, I didn't expect that I would have the opportunity to use this kind of secret technique in my life. Whitebeard thought to himself, while his eyes narrowed. A crackling sound suddenly came from his body, and at the same time, a tragic anger was Whitebeard burst out. That's. Alkiba looked at the changes on Whitebeard's body. His face suddenly changed, and he couldn't help but think in his mind. On that stormy night many years ago, a giant no less tall than Whitebeard completely disregarded the fatal wounds on Beiji's body and hugged Beiji to prevent him from having a chance to dodge. Whitebeard, who was also seriously injured, suddenly improved a lot, and even reached a point where he could threaten him. He wanted to dodge, but unfortunately the person holding Beiji didn't give him a chance at all, and then Whitebeard roared. With a bang, the Junjun fruit was raised to the most powerful level and punched out, hitting Beiji abruptly, causing him to be seriously injured and finally having to leave. That's right, when he went to kill the Whitebeard pirates many years ago, Whitebeard's strength at that time was only the peak of the 4 emperors. Even with the help of the Pluto Rayleigh, it would not have much effect. It is not simply the number of people who can make up for it. In the end, Whitebeard's deputy captain exchanged his life for his life and hugged Alkiba to death, and Whitebeard used a secret technique that only the giant royal family in their giant island can do. It is almost at the cost of life to forcibly improve Beiji's strength, which has great side effects. It is a bit similar to the method of disintegrating the demons. That is why Whitebeard can repel Alkiba, one of the Gorosei 5 elders. As for the big event, why did Whitebeard not use this method? This kind of secret technique is very simple. At that time, he still had the injuries caused by Alchiba on his body. In addition, he had used the secret technique before and the side effects. He was old and weak, and he didn't have a few years to live. It is not enough to support him to use this terrible secret technique. But it's different now. Under the dual effects of the Fruit of Life and the Fruit of Light, Whitebeard not only recovered all his injuries, but also all the life that had passed, and all his body functions were restored to their peak. To the point of surpassing the 4 emperors. In this state of Whitebeard using secret techniques, how terrifying it would be. The peak of the 4 emperors can severely wound Alchiba, who surpassed the 4 emperors, so what about now surpassing the 4 emperors? Dad is going to work hard. Marco was very lucky, but it could also be said to be unfortunate, because when the previous Whitebeard pirates were at their peak, he was also a member of the Whitebeard pirates, but at that time he was still a little boy. He watched countless big brothers and uncles die with his own eyes. He also saw the ability of Whitebeard. Of course, he also saw Alchiba, so he immediately saw the change of Whitebeard. After many years, he thought that Beiji could help Whitebeard no matter how bad he was, but now it seems that Beiji can only stand on the side and rely on Whitebeard to fight each other alone as before. Naginata, god of war. Whitebeard's face was exposed with blue veins, and he had no way out. If he couldn't keep pressing Alchiba with one blow, then he would definitely lose, so he could only fight, waving the incomparably huge in his hand. Naginata, there is a mighty aura that I have in the world with one sword in my hand. The face of Whitebeard at this moment, even Alchiba's mind was temporarily lost by this momentum. Whitebeard's willpower is very terrifying, just look at his performance in major events. The battle that followed was completely beyond the limitations of the inner body, relying on a will, relying on a breath to keep Beiji from falling. In fact, not long after the big incident started, after Whitebeard was attacked by the White Crew, his body was close to collapse, and even if he left after the attack of the Dark Wound, he would not be able to survive. Fight on until this flame of will goes out. Is it this move again? No, it's stronger than the one from a few decades ago, but it's not in vain for the old man to pass so many years. Is this your last blow? Even if you return to your peak state, your strength great progress, but don't forget, the old man has the fruit of death, masters the existence of death, and wants me to die, don't think about it, the tomb of death. Although Alchiba didn't want to admit it, he had to admit that he was using a secret technique at this time, intending to decide the outcome with one blow, and even Whitebeard, who was born and died, already had the strength to threaten Bai's own life. He could not retreat. One step, then it proved that he was overwhelmed by Whitebeard's momentum, which would only fuel Whitebeard's momentum and make Whitebeard's move even more powerful, so he could be said to be facing great pressure now. Suddenly, a terrifying, deadly gray energy that was visible to the naked eye emerged from his palms. At the same time, the air was passive. Immediately, countless stone pillars similar to tombstones appeared in front of Alchiba. For a while, Alchiba seemed to be really. He turned into a god in charge of death, a momentum that judged the life and death of life spontaneously arises, and greeted Whitebeard's tragic and never returning momentum without showing weakness. Before the person arrived, the momentum had already arrived. Two terrifying auras that were evenly matched and neither could do anything about the other seemed to collide in the air as if they were in essence, and a loud sound was constantly rippling in the air, deafening. The momentum here is so strong. That actually attracted the attention of the other 8 people who were still fighting. The other 4 Gorosei, 5 elders of Alchiba, had extremely heavy expressions on their faces and looked very ugly. Obviously they did not expect the situation to be so serious, to a point that even they could not grasp. Join the big event, then when they take action, everything will be erased. Killing 3 and 4 emperors all at once, then the pirates will definitely be at a loss for a long time, but I didn't expect that the happy pirates were not only not smashed by mud, but they even attacked them. The two sides are evenly matched, no one can no matter who. I didn't expect that Whitebeard would actually hide this terrible trick. It's just like the disintegration of the demons, but unfortunately the side effects are too great. It's really fast. I thought this battle would take at least a few days and nights. No, to think that Whitebeard's side is going to be the winner so soon. Lu Chengkong said softly, but his eyes were fixed on Whitebeard and Alchiba. Obviously, he planned to rush over to save people if there was an accident. After all, he had Khalifa from the Fruit of Light and Portgas Dana from the Fruit of Life on his side. As long as you don't die immediately, you can be saved. 274 Heads Up 4. Therefore, in Lu Chengkong's view, it doesn't matter whether Whitebeard can defeat or kill Alkiba, because no matter what, Alkiba and Whitebeard's good luck will be greatly traumatized after the collision. As long as Beiji saves Whitebeard and allows Khalifa and Portgas Dana to cure Whitebeard at the same time, then the win rate of Beiji's side in this battle will be greatly improved. Hold them down, don't let them pass. They have the ability of the Fruit of Light and the Fruit of Life. As long as they don't die immediately, then they will be invincible, and Alkiba is also in vain. The shortest beard, Abra Hebrew, who looks the most normal and is also Angelina's opponent, obviously saw this and immediately said to the three people around him. Almost forgot about that. The other three exchanged glances immediately, and each saw a trace of panic in each other's eyes. They had forgotten this just now. If the other party really saved Whitebeard, then they would be defeated. The odds are much higher. Although they have lived for many years, it does not mean that they are tired of living and want to die. On the contrary, although they have been very firm after living for so long, they are also afraid of death. It should be said that they do not want to die, so they must not let Lu. The idea of Chengkong was successfully implemented. This is the most important part of my entire plan. How could it be possible for you to destroy it, the ability to merge? Lu Chengkong coldly said Isho, a little under his feet. The demon wings behind his back were flapping at the same time. As fast as a ghost in the dark night, it was terrifying, and he actually rushed to the four people in Gorose, 5 elders alone. Bold, to be so arrogant, one person to block me 4 people, so good, as long as the strongest one is killed, then it doesn't matter even if Alkiba is seriously injured or even loses combat effectiveness. Anyway, even if Whitebeard doesn't die, he won't fight much. We have 4 people on our side, and you are doomed. Quote. Alger first shouted in anger. Definitely Lu Chengkong was looking down on Beiji, but a thought passed by, and he immediately showed a look of ecstasy, as did the few people around him, so they all used Beiji's stunts. Obviously they planned to join forces to kill Lu Chengkong all at once. Rokushiki, 6 styles taboo shock. Alger took the lead and used Rokushiki, 6 styles of his own. The power was simply appalling. Everywhere the shock wave passed, the air was twisted, and it seemed that he could not bear it at any time. Live the shock of this shock, it will shatter at any time. Bakwan. Alves, the strong conqueror hockey, also specializes in hockey. The hockey-based moves look very simple, but the armament hockey covered on the fist and the conqueror hockey released against Lu Chengkong are all-powerful scary. The field of gravity. What did Abra Hebrew finally show? But what if suddenly a person's gravity was increased 100 times, or even 1,000 times? For the superpowers in One Piece, King of Pirates, 100 times gravity seems to be nothing. If gravity is only exerted on the outer body, of course it is nothing. When in fact this is not the case, the gravity field not only works on the surface of the opponent's body, but even the internal organs, blood tools, and even small cells in the body will work. The heart suddenly becomes 1,000 times heavier, and the cells suddenly become heavier. 1,000 times more, blood tools, brains, etc. This situation is very dangerous. I am afraid that even an admiral-level powerhouse suddenly faces this situation and will definitely die. Moreover, Abra Hebrew also attacked because of the opponent's ability of Baron, who worried that their elementalization would be ineffective in the field of gravity, and actually covered the powerful armament hockey in the field of gravity, which can attack the ability after elementalization by. It can be said that under the blockade of the gravitational field, only Angelina, who is his opponent, the Fruit of Nothingness, can be so relaxed, because Angelina's Fruit of Nothingness has turned into nothingness, as if it no longer exists in this piece of time and space. Of course, the field of gravity has no effect on her. However, Lu Chengkong is not Angelina. Although he can also use Angelina's abilities, he can only use them after the abilities are integrated. There is no time to use them when he is in a hurry, and Lu Chengkong didn't expect I at all. Blah Hebrew will have such a killer move. After all, the fruit of nothingness is not Lu Chengkong's fruit ability, so he can't be like the security guard Jilina who can turn into nothingness with a single thought, and Lu Chengkong has to deal with the attack of the 4 people in Gorosei, 5 elders. He has already used other abilities to merge, such a short period of time simply cannot be converted into nothingness. The most important thing is that even if Lu Chengkong integrates Angelina's fruit ability from the beginning, it will be useless, because if he does so, he can dodge the attacks of Gorosei, 5 elders and others, then everyone behind him, he is not. It takes Angelina a few girls to save Whitebeard and kill Alchiba in one fell swoop. And he is also hoping to break through the death pressure caused by the joint attack of the 4 in Gorosei, 5 elders. Although he is very risky, it is not that he has not signed up for his trump card. Of course, it is precisely because only in this way can Lu Chengkong's strength rise like a rocket. Ghost Chi Ban. It was too late to say, although I said so much, but in fact, it was only 0.001 that passed. In seconds, Adonis's attack is not over. Any of the 5 stunts in front of him are terrifying stunts that obliterate countless powerhouses, but now Lu Chengkong is now facing 4 people with the power of 1 person. Siege. Although Lu Chengkong has already surpassed Gorosei, 5 elders after entering the 2nd stage of demon transformation, he still won't be able to win much. Lu Chengkong completely dares to put down his rhetoric and defeat any of the Gorosei, 5 elders one-on-one, but facing 4 people it's easy to be severely injured in a face-to-face, and be defeated in an instant. Whether or not he can escape is still a problem, and now Lu Chengkong can't escape, it is dangerous now. It can be said that Lu Chengkong single-handedly greeted the 4 Gorosei, 5 elders with admiration from all the pirates, but he also wiped a cold sweat for Lu Chengkong. This kind of action is too extremely dangerous. If you can resist it, staying at the first attack, Lu Chengkong's winning rate will be greatly improved. But on the contrary, Lu Chengkong can't resist. Not only will it be easy to lose or even die, but it will also increase the probability of the pirates' defeat to a great extent, so the victory or defeat depends largely on whether Lu Chengkong can withstand this wave of attacks. 275 Climax. I don't believe that you are still alive in the face of the stunts of the 4 of us. Alchiba, as a person with the ability of the Fruit of Death, masters the existence of death, and it is not impossible to escape the catastrophe. On the contrary, you are dead. Quote. Gorosei, 5 elders laughed proudly, especially when they saw that Lu Chengkong did not dodge or dodge, and even used all his strength to suckle. Obviously, they all knew that the success or failure of this attack was almost related to this battle. The victory or defeat, they can't help but do their best. Haha, you are too vain to believe, and you are too underestimated by me, Lu Chengkong. When will I do something I am not sure about? Let you see the Paramesha fruit abilities that I have never used. Double the fruit, 20 times the attack, the Devil's Mystery, the 6 magic spears. Lu Chengkong looked at the faces of Gorosei, 5 elders and the others with the winning look on their faces. The corner of his mouth could not help curling, and he said sarcastically, at the same time, he punched forward with his hands in a double dragon going to see move, and Lu Chengkong was doubled by Lu Chengkong. Immediately, a circle of passiveness appeared in the space where the palm hit, a jet black full of violence, and a shock wave of destructive aura immediately appeared to meet the taboo shock in front of him, the ghost chi blocking and the tyrannical fist. Not only that, but with Lu Chengkong's last cold drink, the power of the 6 magic spears suddenly increased by 20 times. That's right, the double fruit is largely the same as the mirror fruit. But at the back, the stronger the physique and strength of the owner, and the deeper the degree of development, the power is very terrifying. Just like the current Lu Chengkong, the power of the 6 magic spears has been increased by 20 times in an instant. This is 20 times, not 1 or 2 times. It is to choose the double fruit. Faced with the 6 magic spears whose power was increased by 20 times in vain, Gorosei, 5 elders, 3-stroke stunt was deadlocked with the 6 magic spears for a few seconds. After blasting through the 3 attacks in front of him, the remaining power of the magic spear hit the 4 Gorosei, 5 elders unabated, sending them flying directly, and Blood Cyclonus buried him on the ice with a bang. However, Lu Chengkong was also not feeling well. He forcibly endured the impact of Alves, Conqueror Hockey, and Abrahebreu's gravity field that contained a strong armament Hockey. After eating these two, Lu Chengkong entered the demon transformation. After the second paragraph, the physique is very terrible and it is a bit unbearable. After all, Conqueror's attack, needless to say, after reaching the level beyond the four emperors, Conqueror's attack is very terrible, whether it is mental or internal body. The trauma, coupled with the attack of the gravity field, is also very strange. Therefore, Lu Chengkong was also covered in blood, and it seemed that he had suffered great trauma. His body was trembling and shaky, but he was able to face 5 beings on the same level as Beiji and beat them all by himself. He vomited blood and flew out. This performance first made those who saw the battle sluggish for a few seconds, and immediately the pirates cheered. Although Lu Chengkong looked very miserable, some of the 4 emperor-level masters present, such as the red-haired stream, still found that Lu Chengkong looked like he would fall down at any time, but his chaotic breathing changed back at an amazing speed. Calming down, it was obvious that Lu Chengkong's terrifying resilience was on full display at this moment, as if it was replaced by other people. Even a giant clan like Whitebeard would not have much combat power even if they didn't lie down after taking these 2 attacks. It's just that things are changing one after another. On this side, Lu Chengkong has created a record that can be said to be against the sky. On the other side, Alkiba is also very remarkable. The man, who was hit hard by Whitebeard and then faced the combined blow of Boa Hancock and Angelina, was still not dead, lying on the ice, but it seemed that there was more air in and out less. As for Whitebeard, it's not much better. He and Alkiba can't take advantage of anyone in the confrontation, but in any case, Whitebeard is always a little worse than Alkiba's overall strength. Steady fighting is still far from enough, and the after effects of using the secret method after this attack came out immediately, so Whitebeard was also half sitting on the ground, unable to move. Fortunately, Khalifa moved at the speed of light and came to Whitebeard's side in an instant, and joined hands with Portgas D. Dana to stabilize Whitebeard's injury. The energy of light and life continued to heal Whitebeard's body. Cough cough. Fortunately, the physical defense and endurance of the second stage of the demon transformation are very strong, otherwise the gravity field just now would be dead, and the resilience is really strong. Lu Chengkong's body was slightly shaken, and the blood stuck to his body was immediately shaken out. What was shocking was that Lu Chengkong, who had many scars on his body, had actually recovered, as if he had never been injured, but he was the only one. Clearly, the external wounds have recovered, but the internal organs are not so easily healed. The time for the second phase of the Devil's transformation is approaching. We must quickly clean up the mess, otherwise the distance that we have finally opened up will be caught up again. Lu Chengkong glanced at the Adonis C who had stood up except for Alkiba. Man, he secretly said in his heart that he was indeed perverted. Baiji's attack just now was very powerful, but after being blocked and shared by the 4 of them, it did not cause any fatal injury to them. I really have to obey, but I don't think you can stay in this state for long. After this state is lifted, I don't believe that you will not become weak, even if there is no such big sequelae as Whitebeard's forcible promotion, but I think you are also far from your heyday. Don't be too happy, you don't know who will die. Abrahebreu is indeed the most delicate mind, and he was the one who discovered Lu Chengkong's thoughts just now, otherwise the situation on the Gorosei 5 elders side would be even more dangerous. So what, at least I can last for a while, enough to clean up you, and Whitebeard has recovered, 2 beats one of you is enough. Although Lu Chengkong admitted that Abrahebreu's statement was correct, yes, but what came out of his mouth was a different story. After all, he must not raise other people's ambition and destroy his own prestige. Really, Abrahebreu suddenly took out a gold and silver phone bug. Yes, it was 2 colors, but his actions changed Lu Chengkong's face. The golden phone bug was a demon slayer. Ling, the silver one is the one who accepts the buster call, so what will the gold and silver phone bugs bring? Although Lu Chengkong doesn't know, but there is one thing that even a fool will think, that is the hand of the white Gorosei, 5 elders, and it is still this never-before-seen phone bug will definitely have terrifying effects. 276 Gorosei, 5 elders, cards. Bo. Abra Hebrew pressed lightly under everyone's gaze, and the phone bug made 2 boo-boo sounds. After the film arrived, there was some insight. People with strong perception immediately noticed that there were subtle changes in the space. As time went by, the changes in the space became more and more obvious, and almost everyone discovered this kind of change. Click. Suddenly, there was a crisp cracking sound from the space next to Gorosei, 5 elders, as if glass was shattered, but the next scene caused many pirates and marines to widen their eyes in shock, and their eyes almost disappeared. Drop on the floor. Because the space next to Gorosei, 5 elders sounded with this sound, and what followed was a huge gap in the space, and a tall man with murderous eyes came out. This is the ability of space. Is this person a person with the ability of space fruit? Lu Chengkong's face changed slightly. He already knew that the situation was beyond his control, but he immediately felt it was right. After all, Gorosei, 5 elders have been around for so many years, how could there be no whole cards? The world government has been established for more than 800 years, and we have also existed for more than 800 years. Alger looked at the man in front of him with a complicated expression, and finally said with a sigh. What? More than 800 years, how could it be possible to live so long? Lu Chengkong sank in his heart and exclaimed in shock. When he saw that Gorosei, 5 elders were at most 300 or 400 years old, how could it be possible he lived more than 800 years old? But the fact made him have to believe it. Wait, there is no life fluctuation on the person with the ability of the space fruit, he is from the dead. Portgas D. Dana said suddenly, looking at the middle-aged man who suddenly appeared in disbelief. No, how is it possible, how could he move without life fluctuations? Many pirates, and marines' crowd suddenly boiled like a pot. That's right, he's dead. Adonis, words were hard to believe, because none of them believed that the Gorosei, 5 elders would tell such lies, and at this time, the most important thing was Gorosei, 5 there was no need for the elders to lie to them. I felt a familiar feeling in him, as if he was my relative. Angelina had been looking at this middle-aged man when he appeared, and spit out this sentence at this time talk. I knew that someone would find him after he was taken out, but at this time, even if she finds out, he must not do it. Marine must not be defeated. Alva's eyes suddenly appeared. There was a trace of fear, and it was even more complicated when looking at Angelina. It's so similar. I think you are Angelina. It seems that I guessed right. No wonder it is so similar. He is your father's biological brother, one of the 20 kings who created the world government. How can you? It doesn't feel familiar. There is no time for unnecessary words. The person who knows this must die, and she must not know that we stole this person's body. Abra Hebrew waved his hand, showing his heroic character to the fullest. In order to hide this matter, he even let Marine's people let go. When his words came out, Marine was first stunned, followed by a great fear. Shouting out, some people with unstable minds have even begun to flee after seeing the strength of Gorosei, 5 elders, but unfortunately, before their footsteps began to move, this middle-aged man's eyes flickered. A wave of spatial energy passively spread out immediately, and the people affected by the spatial energy were all twisted into pieces without exception. In an instant, only Kuzan, Sengoku, Garp, Kazaru, and Smoker survived in all the Marines in the Marine headquarters. Tashigi and Tina, Marine headquarters turned into a dead city in an instant. How could this be? Is this really Marine who insists on justice? Smoker, Tashigi, Tina, and even Kuzan were all at a loss. They were all dissatisfied with what Marine had done, especially Kuzan and Smoker, but now the Gorosei, 5 elders, approach immediately breaks them off with Marine. Are there any more? It's a pity, they're all talents, but you can only blame you for being unlucky. Knowing this, Alger's face was also very complicated. After all, as justice, they actually wanted to kill Beiji's actions, but they had to do it. If this matter spreads, they will definitely die. I said that you are too white. even if he is one of the 20 kings of Tenryubito, but he is now a dead person. I think it should be the ability of the Fruit of Death, Alchiba, who used his ability to save him to now, but even so, his strength has dropped a lot, and at most he is stronger than you in the first line, which is almost the same as me now. Zio thinks that you have already won. Just when the middle-aged man was about to shoot again, Lu Chengkong instantly appeared in front of him, and the fist including armament hockey punched in the past, hitting him directly in the face, and blasting him out. Really, but he is an undead creature. He doesn't feel pain, fear, fatigue, and only fights. If he can't be completely smashed, he won't die completely, and you will remain in this state. No, as long as we hold you back, I believe it won't take long for you to get rid of this state. When you face the 5 of us, do you think you will survive? Adonis said mockingly. Like Lu Chengkong's Baidarang, he was very upset. It seems that you have become more and more idiots after living for so many years. Is your head rusted? He is only surviving by the ability of the Fruit of Death, and it is a kind of undead creature. If he is still alive, then it's really hard to do, but now he is sure to die. Have you forgotten the purifying power of the Fruit of Light? Lu Chengkong went back sarcastically without showing weakness. At the same time, Callie, who was beside him, made a move immediately as if he had a consonant skill. A golden sun made of completely white light energy immediately appeared on her jade hand. At the same time, the jade hand Vivi swayed, her right hand. I don't know when a golden arrow appeared. It was obviously formed by the condensed energy of white light, but the destructive power contained in this arrow was very terrifying. I can't help but feel a hairy feeling. Let's see my strongest trick at the moment, the arrow of light. Khalifa snorted coldly, pulled a full moon, and with a swipe, the speed of light shot directly at the middle-aged man. The speed was unmatched. In the eyes of 99% of people, an arrow is a must. After all, the speed of light can't be avoided unless you use the eyes to predict and dodge in advance. 277 mirror image can eat fruit. Haha, I thought you were proud of something. You thought we didn't know. That little girl's Fruit of Light can really extract the essence of Luke, and the speed of light can't be avoided, and it can't be avoided, but have you forgotten his ability? The Fruit of Space, although it is not as good as Angelina's Fruit of Nothingness, but if he wants to hide, even light can't catch him, and if it is faster than light, except for thinking, it is space. Abra Hebrew originally had a bad feeling in his heart, but after hearing Lu Chengkong's words, he immediately put this feeling behind him. His tone was full of disdain, as if Lu Chengkong was an idiot. It's just that Adonis on one side keenly caught the sarcastic arc of Yi at the corner of Lu Chengkong's mouth. Obviously he was mocking Abra Hebrew. His mind was spinning, as if he had thought of something. He immediately shouted that it was not good, it was necessary. To resist this arrow, it's a pity that Khalifa's arrow is too fast, and he finds that Beiji's movements seem to be filled countless times in an instant. No, it's not his movements, but time has slowed down. Gorosei, 5 elders and others, a scene of unbelief appeared. Luke, that is the name of this middle-aged man, he seems to have been immobilized, as if unable to move, the ability of space is not used, just so stupid silly standing there. Khalifa's arrow of light pierced through his chest. The powerful light energy immediately purifies the dead energy from Chi's body, and at the same time burns his whole body clean without leaving a trace of ashes. This supreme being, one of the 20 kings, was instantly killed shortly after his appearance. If the huge contrast makes everyone sluggish, but fortunately, the live broadcast of this battle has been closed when Abra Hebrew intends to use Luke, otherwise people who see the battle here will also be sluggish. No, impossible, even if the space fruit is not comparable to the Fruit of Nothingness. The Fruit of Destiny, even if the person with the ability of the Fruit of Nothingness wants to hit the person with the ability to dodge the space fruit with all his strength, he can't do it easily. How can he not move? How can he do it? Don't use spatial abilities. Gorosei, 5 elders roared annoyed, like a madman. My actions just now. No, time was slowed down, could it be? As long as Adonis seemed to understand something, his eyes flashed, and Lu Chengkong said it in advance when he was about to spit out. Have you found it? You guessed right, it was indeed the ability of the fruit of time just now. Lu Chengkong nodded, and his words made people who knew something not surprising, except that everyone else was staring at him, obviously wanting to get it. The answer satisfies Bai Ji's curiosity. In the 3 years in the New World, I found a barren-type fruit. I couldn't know that fruit from the illustrated book, but my intuition told me that the fruit's ability would not be bad. After all, the illustrated book has all the skills. If there is no record, then it must be more mysterious and many people have eaten it. Lu Chengkong's eyes flashed the color of memories, and said slowly. How can one person eat 2 devil fruits? Gorosei, 5 elders immediately refuted when they heard it. In fact, they also knew that some special abilities could allow people to eat 2 devil fruits, such as the dark fruit, but Lu Chengkong's ability was obvious. Not so, if Lu Chengkong used the ability of mirror image to merge, it would make sense, but what Lu Chengkong said was obviously eating, not fusion. Yes, I can't eat it, but my mirror image can. The mirror image clone of my main body has an ability. Yes, after killing the ability person, my main body clone can gain the ability of the other party. However, after my mirror fruit developed to possess 80% of the strength of the main body, in addition to the ability fusion, the mirror clone can eat the devil fruit. As long as the mirror image of my main body eats the devil fruit, it will be as if I have never eaten the devil. Like fruit people, you can continue to develop, research and improve. As long as I summon the clone, to what extent the devil fruit I ate before will be developed, and it will be the same as before after being summoned. The clone can become stronger for nothing, and develop the power of the fruit for nothing. After promotion, it is like a real person, and the strength after promotion is permanent. It can be said that apart from the avatar being completely under my control, the mirror avatar of my body is no different from the real person. It is just as wise, as well as able to laugh, cry, become stronger, cultivate, and learn to improve its strength for nothing. Speaking of which, the effect of this clone eating devil fruit is the same as that of killing someone with the ability or the fruit ability, but the method and approach are different. Do you understand when I say this? Quote. Hiss. Hearing this, even Garp, Sengoku, Kuzan, Redhead, Whitebeard, Hawkeye and others who had learned about the terrifying mirror fruit early in the morning couldn't help gasping for breath. It was really terrifying. It's like one person can eat all the devil fruits. Of course it's not without restrictions. Each clone of my body can only eat one type of devil fruit, or use mirror image conversion to obtain an ability, and only my body has this ability. Other people's mirror clones are no, not even if that mirror clone does not have the ability of devil fruit. And there are only 3 clones of my main body. I have already used 2 of them. The last one is edible or obtained by using mirror image conversion, so you don't have to worry that I will eat all the fruit abilities. Remember what I said when I used Ace's power to fight a Kainu. Burning fruit is one of my personal favorite abilities, so since it is one of my favorite abilities, there are several other favorite abilities, such as Khalifa's Light, and I just summoned the clone, so that the time used by the clone is suspended and time is slowing down, but unfortunately, now I can only fuse other people's mirror avatars, but Bai's own mirror avatar cannot be fused, otherwise, my ability to use time in person will definitely be more enjoyable. Even so, Whitebeard, Gorosei, 5 elders and others still have heart palpitations on their faces. It's too scary. The mirror clone is really scary to the point of being frightening and timid. I forgot to mention that just now Lu Chengkong can use the body of Beiji. The ability of the double fruit of the mirror image is not to integrate the mirror image of Beiji, but to integrate the mirror clone of the person with the double fruit ability that was killed by the mirror clone of Beiji at the beginning. It can be said that the stunt of ability fusion is not without flaws. In addition to the devil fruit ability obtained by Lu Chengkong's 3 body mirror images, if the master of the ability possessed by other people's mirror clones dies, then the devil fruit will be eliminated. Wait until the new devil fruit is born again, and then be eaten by people. Then Lu Chengkong can no longer summon the mirror avatar of the dead ability person or use ability fusion. He can only find a new ability person, fuse his body, and summon the new ability person's avatar after fusion. Ability, which is not a disadvantage. 278 Ancient Weapon Pluto. Gorosei, 5 Elders. If Luke just now is the trump card you were relying on, then I can honestly tell you that we won this game because Lu Chengkong said because he stopped when he said 2 words. After coming down, 3 people who looked exactly like Lu Chengkong suddenly appeared beside him. Needless to say, everyone knows that these 3 are really mirror images of Lu Chengkong's body. One has the ability to multiply the fruit, the other is the fruit of time. One has not eaten the devil fruit and has not used the mirror transformation to gain the fruit ability. However, these 3 mirror clones have 80% of Lu Chengkong's main body. It can be said that any of these 3 clones can be compared to Gorosei, 5 Elders. The mirror image of Lu Chengkong's double fruit, needless to say, the speed, defense, and attack power increase sharply, 5 times, 10 times, 20 times, as long as the body and spirit can bear it, then it can continue to improve. Of course, the development of fruit ability must keep up. This fruit ability, the effect is the most simple and direct, and it is a multiple improvement. As for the other time fruit's mirror image Lu Chengkong's combat power, needless to say, time, space, fate and these words are all heaven-defying beings, and the mirror image Lu Chengkong with the time fruit control time is stronger than him. The other person can also be defeated. The last one is the weakest, but it is only relative to the first 2. Compared with the others, it is a godlike existence. These 3 avatars are Lu Chengkong's hidden trump cards. They were not used at first to deal with some emergencies. After all, people always have to leave a little more trump cards for Beiji. The strength that can deceive others and cannot touch Beiji is the strength. The best choice, after all, the unknown is the most terrifying. Hehe, I really didn't expect us to lose, but although we lose, it doesn't mean that you can leave alive. Alger's face turned pale. At this moment, he finally remembered what Beiji had overlooked, which was Lu Chengkong's avatar, but he didn't expect Lu Chengkong's avatar to be so strong. All 3 had Baiji's unique fruit ability. Incredibly perverted. It's a pity that there is one thing that Gorosei, 5 Elders don't know, otherwise, they may all be directly hit and collapse. As long as Lu Chengkong's mirror image avatar is not wiped out in an instant, and Lu Chengkong's mental power can still support, then these clones can recover infinitely, not afraid of all damage, and the most important thing is unlimited physical strength, which is the best blessing for the mirror image Lu Chengkong of the double fruit. After all, if you won't get tired and have infinite physical strength, as long as your spirit can support it, you can increase the multiple of the double fruit to the extreme developed by the people with double fruit ability. That's enough, then each of his attacks can reach 20 times. Want to die together? Do you think I'll give you this chance? Lu Chengkong pouted, completely ignoring the threat of Gorosei, 5 Elders. I forgot to tell you that when the double fruit is developed to the limit, it will acquire a very terrifying ability. In addition to improving the speed, strength, and defense, it can also improve the strength of the white body. Lu Chengkong looked at the Gorosei, 5 Elders who were going to die together. It shouldn't be the 4 old stars. Alkiba is still lying on the ice. Although he is not dead, he doesn't even have the strength to stand up. As long as my body can hold it up, it's not a problem even if I increase my strength by 20 times. It's a pity that even if I'm not injured, I can only increase my body's strength by 3 times at most. The power exploded, but did you forget my mirror image? His endurance is much stronger than my main body, and it can fully withstand a 5-fold increase. Do you think that a mirror clone with 80% of my combat power will have a 5-fold increase in strength and you will die with me? Capital. Every word of Lu Chengkong was like a sledgehammer. Every word he uttered was like a sledgehammer hitting the hearts of Gorosei, 5 Elders. In the end, Gorosei, 5 Elders and the others looked gloomy. Of water will come out. If this is the case, then even if they don't lose the entire marine headquarters, it's really impossible to pull down Lu Chengkong's people, but is this battle really won by Lu Chengkong's side? No, just when everyone thought Lu Chengkong's group would win, the 4 Gorosei, 5 Elders, faces flashed decisively, as if they had made a terrible decision. HMPH, I didn't expect a few of us to be pushed to this point by you little brats. Very good, very good, it seems that we are really old. In this case, we will throw away the last fluke and use our life, at the cost of erasing you. Adonis roared with a grim expression on his face. Although they were thinking of perishing together just now, but this idea has a lot of water, and the psychology also retains a bit of luck. Their so-called perishing is just pretending, and they want to escape the most. After all, in their opinion, as long as their lives are saved, they can make a comeback. It's a pity that things have developed to this point. Since it has begun, one of the two sides must fall to the end. Ancient weapon, Pluto, wake me up, at the expense of the few of us and the soul of Marine that was lost just now. The four Gorosei, 5 elders suddenly shouted together. The earth began to tremble, the entire Marine headquarters suddenly split into two halves, and a huge and incomparable warship rose from the depths of the ground. The crew was very old, but it gave people a feeling of extreme danger. How is it possible that the blueprint of Hades has been burned by me? How can you have Hades? Frankie shouted in disbelief, his glasses fell to the ground. HMPH, do you think we don't have a blueprint for Pluto? We got Pluto early in the morning. All we want is a blueprint to turn on the power source of Pluto. This can be said to be an incomplete Pluto. The power source of Pluto can also be said to be energy, so to open Pluto, a large amount of life and soul must be used as the price. We just killed those Marines just to prepare for the trump card of Pluto. Quote. Alger might really be dying, as if a mad beast was about to take a bite. So, in any case, as long as Pluto is activated, the 5 of you will die. Lu Chengkong seemed to understand why just now they all said they were going to die together, and they were so calm, but they were still fighting. The thoughts of escaping, now seeing Baiji's 2 whole cards, he immediately knew that there was no hope of escaping, so he planned to die and drag Baiji and others. 279 The terrifying of Hades. That's right, it's not just us. The souls of those Marines have been collected by Alkiba just now. If you don't get up soon, how long will you pretend to be dead? Unbelievable, Alkiba said. Hee, we're all going to die anyway. We've lived for so long, and it's not a disadvantage to have so many of you buried with us. Alkiba, who was about to die at any moment, actually stood up, looking as if not a single injury. How is that possible? Whitebeard said incredulously, but he was very aware of the power of the blow just now. How could Alkiba be nothing at all? It's very simple, because I am the master of death. If I am not the power user of the fruit of death, I can't die anymore, but unfortunately, the most terrible thing about the fruit of death is that it can absorb the death energy of dying people. In addition to the soul, there is also the death energy that can absorb Baiji, so as long as you don't kill me all at once, then I can continue to absorb all the death energy that is almost fatal because of the heavy injury, and the injuries on my body will continue. They will all recover at an astonishing rate, and just now I will be recovering from Beiji's injury. Alkiba looked at Hades at his feet, and knew that Baiji could not live, and he was not hiding these secrets. So you Gorosei, 5 elders can live for so long. One is because you all practiced returning your life to the extreme, and the other is that you use the ability of the fruit of death to absorb all the death energy from you, so that not only will you not be eroded by death, but your lifespan will become stronger and stronger. Am I right? The color of enlightenment flashed in Lu Chengkong's eyes, and he finally understood why these few people could live for more than 800 years. That's right, it's a pity you didn't say one thing. Yeah, I also turned the souls of the strong who died over the years into energy to give us a few supplements, so the lifespan of our bodies did not pass, and the souls also got also. If it weren't for you, it would be okay for us to live for thousands of years, so you have to die, and you can't even keep your soul. I understand, everything is in your calculations. After I blocked a few of you and Alkiba was hit hard, you have already prepared this plan, and even opening Hades is a step in your plan. You don't have to die at all. I'm right, so far you've all been acting. Lu Chengkong finally understood what Baiji had been ignoring all the time, and also understood that Baiji was calculating others, but he was actually counter-calculated by Gorosei, 5 elders. Haha, did you find out now? It's a pity, I didn't expect it would take us so much effort to destroy your pirate group. As long as Alkiba doesn't die, we won't die. Is the body gone? It doesn't matter, there is Alkiba. With Kiba's abilities, we can take a new body. So Alkiba was lying on the ground just now. In fact, he pretended that he was going to die at any time, and then he told us that all of you would not be able to live, and became a sacrifice to open Hades. In fact, the few of you just handed over your body, but not your soul at all. After Joe Pluto killed us, Alkiba used his ability to let you retake the area, and those who know all the truth here will accompany you. My body is buried here, and then you will be able to rebuild a marine, am I right? Lu Chengkong's words made everyone's face change greatly. Gorosei, 5 elders are so deep in calculation and so ruthless. I didn't expect you to guess all of this, but what if you guessed it? At most, I'm just a sensible ghost, and I won't die with doubts. Alves laughed wildly with a victorious attitude, as if he had already liked winning. You are too vain to believe, right? You are all too ignorant. Do you think that with the ancient weapon Pluto, you can kill us all? Strangely, Lu Chengkong's group didn't seem to be at all afraid of chaos. Instead said calmly Bai Ruo. Do you think you can still walk away? The horror of ancient weapons is simply beyond your imagination. As long as there is enough energy support, this weapon will never stop attacking you. By the way, I forgot to tell you, Pluto's attack is not simply to hurt the body, but also the soul. In addition, no one can escape within the attack range of Hades, except to resist or be directly bombarded, because within the range of Hades, attack has been put down a screen similar to the enchantment. Outside things, people can come in, but the inside must not go out unless Hades' comb is gone. Alger said with a smile, no one loves the power of Hades more than them. In the past 800 years, countless strong men have been born, and it is not uncommon for them to reach the level of Lu Chengkong and others, even those who almost overthrew the world government. No, it's just that all these people died in the hands of Hades. Lei Ying. Lu Chengkong is not the kind of person who just stands there and waits for death. As long as he is not dead, he will not give up. With Enel's mirror image, he does not need the cooperation of Ark's proverbs. He used the most powerful thunder-type trick to blast the rear. Chi-Chi. It's a pity that such a powerful thunder and lightning suddenly fluctuated in the space when it flew a few hundred meters away, and a black-red energy rippled out directly. The lightning and the black-red energy collided, and there was a sound first. There was a loud noise throughout the world, and then the incomparably huge thunder and lightning were forcibly swallowed up. How is that possible? Lu Chengkong couldn't help but show a hint of emotion on his face. Although Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, can't compare to the top 10 Baron Fruit abilities, it's only incomprehensive ability. And himself. In fact, Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, can definitely be said to be the invincible fruit ability under the top 10 Baron Fruits, even in terms of pure destructive power. Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, is more powerful than death, darkness. The destructive power of life is even greater. Of course, it is only in terms of destructive power. If you really compare Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, it is still inferior to the darkness of death and the 3 of life. Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit, is so terrifying in terms of destructive power, and it was played by Lu Chengkong, a person whose strength surpassed the 4 emperors, even stronger than Gorosei, 5 elders, and he was the strongest when he shot it. The most destructive Lei Ying, but this still can't shake the so-called enchantment, which is terrible. Jia Jia, don't praise the scheming in vain. I'm not afraid to tell you that the ancient weapon Pluto was mainly made of the destruction fruit, which ranks 6th among the top 10 barren fruits, and the destruction fruit is still ranked above the bright fruit. In terms of destructive power and destructive power, it is far beyond Guro Guro no Mi, Rumble Rumble Fruit. How can your thunderbolt be useful? Abra Hebrew laughed, his tone full of pride. 280 Hades versus Neptune. Destroy the fruit. Whitebeard and others exclaimed. These fruit abilities that have only appeared in legends have appeared one after another today, and they are still stronger than each other. It can be said that apart from the most mysterious fate and the fifth-ranked creation in addition, nothingness, time, space, annihilation, light, life, death, and darkness have all appeared. It really came together. Yes, as long as Pluto has enough souls and people serve as sacrifices, the stronger those people are, the more powerful Pluto can exert. The people who died in Marine just now and their souls have been absorbed by Pluto. But it's not enough to kill the few of you who are beyond the 4 emperors in one fell swoop, but it's enough to add the bodies of the 4 of us. Abrahebrew said that he was the first to hit Baiji's chest with a palm, punching a huge hole in Baiji's chest, which was sucked in by Hades. Immediately after, Adonis, Alger, and Alves did the same, killing them in vain. Then, their bodies were sucked in by Hades like Abrahebrew, and the only one on the other side was not in vain. A powerful suction suddenly burst out from the killed Alkiba, revealing the souls that could not be seen by the inner eye. The souls of these 4 people are the Gorosei, 5 elders who just died, and have been captured by Alkiba at this time. Up! If you guys can still escape before Pluto opens, but with so many sacrifices as the energy to activate Pluto, Pluto can attack here for 3 days and 3 nights without interruption, even if you Angelina is nothingness. It is also impossible for the person with the ability of the fruit to remain nihilistic for 3 days and 3 nights, unless you can abandon your companions and run away in vain. If that is the case, it will be better. When you escape, you will be left alone. I will help them. It's easy to kill you after winning the meeting, haha, you should just wait until you die. As Alchiba said that, he turned over and jumped, turning into a dead breath and entering the body of Hades directly. Obviously, if he did not go in, he would be listed as a candidate for attack by Hades. Child in the sky, what should I do now? Don't tell me you can't do anything about it. Although I've only met you twice, and we said goodbye in a hurry, I don't believe you're the kind of person who rushes in without being fully prepared. Whitebeard ran over and looked at the ever-changing Pluto, one after another, and said to Lu Chengkong. Sure enough, the pirates who had already fallen into despair and those who survived Marine all looked at Lu Chengkong, and found that although Lu Chengkong's complexion had changed greatly just now, until now there was no trace of despair in the depths of his eyes. Frightened, but calm as water, this expression obviously told everyone present that Lu Chengkong still had a way to deal with it. Ancient weapon, Pluto. It is indeed very powerful, especially with so many marine souls and inner bodies, plus the bodies of the 4 Gorosei, 5 elders as sacrifices. I think every attack of Pluto is stronger than Gorosei, each of the 5 elders. Strongest blows in their lives must be powerful. It's really scary to keep this peak attack for 3 days and 3 nights, not to mention the fact that they have no intention of trapping us. It's a pity that they are too white. Big, ancient weapons are powerful, but that doesn't mean they are invincible. Quote. Lu Chengbai smiled sympathetically. Not at all. In the face of desperation people should behave. That Kambai Ruo's appearance made many people admire them. Little devil, I know what you're thinking. The best option to deal with ancient weapons is undoubtedly ancient weapons, but the current ancient weapon Pluto is not a joke. This time Pluto's power can be said to be the most terrifying for so many years. Once, with Gorosei, 5 elders and so many marines as sacrifices, it is definitely not comparable to the still developing Neptune. Quote. Pluto Rayleigh came out, his eyes flickering, but he had seen another ancient weapon, the Shirahoshi. The Sea Emperor is terrible, but now the Pluto has so many blessings, the power can be said to have reached almost the peak of existence. It is indeed not comparable to Shirahoshi, who is still developing and growing. What? The ancient weapon Sea Emperor is with you. Except for the Straw Hats, Rayleigh, and Aunt Xiao, the others ignited their vitality and looked at Lu Chengkong with bright eyes. What a huge weapon. Each of the ancient weapons has their own unique and powerful abilities. It is really difficult to tell who is stronger and who is weaker. Indeed, Shirahoshi's abilities are still growing, not to mention reaching their limits. They are not even mature yet. Reach. Lu Chengkong's words, coupled with the eyes of Rayleigh and the Straw Hats, made everyone look at Shirahoshi, who was standing next to Angelina with a timid face. Such a beautiful mermaid was actually the Emperor of the Sea. If it weren't for Liu Chengkong they couldn't believe it. I never thought of letting Shirahoshi face Pluto alone. As a captain, if I just let my own crew go out to face him when I die, then I'm too unqualified as a captain. Liu Chengkong Hehe Isho, full of unrestrained and unrestrained temperament, looking at the more than 100 cannons on Hades in front of him, he has already aimed at Beiji, without a trace of timidity, step by step, walking in the sky slowly walking towards Pluto. Sure enough, he has never been afraid. He was like this when he was young, and he was like this when he grew up. It is not unreasonable that he can grow to this point under the oppression of Marine. Facing death, Isho has always been calm. Past. Sengoku smiled bitterly, and he found that Baiji was really getting more and more alive, but no matter what angle he looked at, Liu Chengkong's performance always made him admire him. If he put himself in everyone's shoes, Sengoku he didn't dare to say that Baiji could do what Liu Chengkong did. Is that the case again? The first time we met, we made a breakthrough with the help of my pressure, and the second time we made a breakthrough with the pressure of R3 Admiral and Garp. Qing Nan looked at Liu Chengkong's back and couldn't help but whisper it feeds. Shirahoshi, summon the Sea Kings. The Sea Kings are everywhere. The power of the sea is unfathomable, let alone this barrier can only be entered but not out. Even if you can't enter or exit, the Sea Kings have been able to come in under your power. Use your strength. You are a member of the Free and Easy Pirates. It is your duty to protect your own life and the lives of your companions. Before I come back, you must withstand the attack of Hades. A resolute and unyielding voice floated from the front, and in the ears of everyone who passed it on. Shirahoshi was stunned when he heard it, and immediately put it away with a timid look on his face, and replaced it with a serious look. He clenched his fists tightly, and his eyes suddenly became extremely fierce. Liu Chengkong said that you are a member of the Happy Pirates, which made her feel at home. Beiji is not useless, Beiji is also useful, and its role is irreplaceable. Now it is her Shirahoshi show. White's stage.